You are not alone. Visit NAMI.org for information, resources, and support. NAMI.org.
Saturday, June 1st, the Cold Mountain Music Festival is back at beautiful Lake Logan, just outside Canton. This year's lineup features Grizzly Goat, Two Bob Crew, Darren Nicholson, and a whole lot more. It's family-friendly waterfront activities, food trucks, and local vendors, and local craft beer and wine. Plus a Friday night pre-party for campers and cabin guests.
This is Darren Nicholson, and I can't wait to see you at the Cold Mountain Music Festival.
For more information and to get your tickets, go to coldmountainmusic.org. Proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia, Asheville.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Live from the Ingalls Studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog eat! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God, the Jets killed him.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is live in the Ingalls Studio. We're heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat, talk about what we're talking about each and every day here in the Sportsocracy. We've got giant contracts being handed out continually in the NFL. We have summer scouting to get into. It's all right here for the final voyage of the week. Here for the Sportsocracy, Flostradamus Jeremy Greene joining us from Mullet Manor.
Yeah, we're on summer schedule, which is this is the quiet quitting of sports talk in 2024. I just learned that term
today about that, and it is it's breaking his brain.
Yeah, it makes me real angry. Why is it that everything that people that are younger than 25 do just pisses me off to no end? I hear it and immediately get angry.
Well, because you're almost an old man.
I'm not almost an old man. I'm still a young man.
Close to 40.
You're an old man.
40,
I'm a young man.
And it's going to trip. It's going to trip a trigger in your brain every day. There's another one. Every day somebody else gets dumber. Or maybe you do. I don't know.
I get smarter every day.
It's one of those things that happens when you get older. You can't stand the younger and younger generations.
I did have I talked with one of the wonderful sponsors of this show, Clarissa Hyatt-Zach, this morning, and she was telling me about a couple of people that listen to the show, one of which loved me and the other hates me. And I went, how old is the first one and how old is the second one? The first one is older than you and the second one's younger than you. And I went, that maths. Let's go.
Yep. That makes a whole lot of sense. We've got summer scouting to get into today, more college prospect coverage here as we ramp up our summer coverage, taking you to the start of the Living the Dream tour as we'll be going around the country, seeing a lot of the college prospects and the run-up to the 2025 NFL Draft. The Living the Dream tour, courtesy of Ingalls Markets, super or low prices, love the savings. And Jeremy, today we're going to talk quarterbacks.
Yep.
In college, because yesterday we did NFL quarterback rooms. Today we're going to talk about college quarterback prospects. Also, top 13 edge rushing groups in the NFL.
We're also going to talk about contracts because Jalen Waddle got a bajillion dollars.
He did. Jalen Waddle has agreed to a contract extension with the Miami Dolphins. He is the latest wide receiver in the NFL to get paid $76 million guaranteed on a 3-year deal, total of $84.75 million, and that is now the third highest amount per year average for an NFL wide receiver in history, just behind A.J. Brown and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
But you buried the lead. $76 million guaranteed.
Yes.
And I if you listened really quietly at about 10:15 this morning, when this contract was announced, you could if you put your ear to the wind towards Cincinnati, you could hear just a slew of obscenities. I mean, literally every wordy dirt you've ever thought of hearing in your entire life was said out of the city of Cincinnati. Because if Jalen Waddle is getting that, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, this conversation starts at 35, and I think it's probably going to end about 40.
Yes. The highest end wide receivers in the NFL will be making the lowest end quarterback money. That's the value that they've risen to in the league. Justified or not? What do you think?
Well, here's my I think that's a misleading question that you asked me. Are there receivers that are worth the money? Are these receivers worth what they're getting paid? Yes. There's one great big problem, and I think it steers into that millennial thing that irks me, of you just don't really seem to understand how the world works. If we have 100 of these guys, then none of you are actually worth this kind of money. Because I'm looking at Miami right now going, okay, you're paying $58 million to receivers. I would say you probably have the best receiver duo in the league.
Yeah.
Do I think that really does anything to your chances at winning? Yeah, I think it diminishes it.
Really?
You're paying $58 million to wide receivers. Name me a team that has ever won doing anything like that in this modern era.
Mm-hmm.
The Kansas City Chiefs have basically said, we're going to punt receiver and we'll just draft them every year. And our quarterback is so good that I don't care. I don't care who the receivers are because it doesn't matter, because our quarterback will prop them up.
Yes.
You know what was your immediate thought when this deal came down? Because I'm going to go out on a limb and say we had completely different thoughts.
When I saw it, I went, yep, that makes a whole lot of sense, because it's the only path that you have to being competitive. The Miami Dolphins have to keep this together.
The fact you said the word competitive is really... What are they competitive to?
They're competitive for their division.
Is that where you want to be? You want to just be, hey, you know what? We're contending for the AFC East with the New England Patriots, who are dead on arrival, the New York Jets, who might be cursed by Satan, and the Buffalo Bills, who I'm not sure are even trying to win at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. You're competitive to win that. I would say you're clearly still the 2 in that division if we assume health, and you might be the 3. Mm-hmm. Because Buffalo has some weird way of, no matter who the players are, they still find a way to be the class of this division over the last handful of years. My first thought was, well, you just painted yourself into a corner, and get ready to pay Tua Tagovailoa a bajillion dollars.
Well, they're in that corner regardless.
I don't think they are. I don't think they were before they signed Jalen Waddle, because now you are so locked in at receiver, you can't just throw White Mike in there at quarterback. Can't do it. You are committed to, I am going to try to outscore you. I did a little digging. This deal starts in 2026. How much active cap space do the Miami Dolphins have in 2026, as of right now? This is with projected cap, by the way. Projected cap 3 years from now, $284 million.
$40 million.
They're at $50 million, and they haven't signed Tua yet. You tell me how you're going to build that roster. Oh, by the way, this is a team that doesn't draft all that well. Mm-hmm. I just look at Miami and go, you've painted yourself into a corner, and there is absolutely no way to get out of it.
Yep.
Awesome. You're going to score 40 points. You're probably going to give up 50. Because you have Jalen Ramsey, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, and nothing else. Congratulations.
Without paying Jalen Waddle, what was the alternative? You let him walk and maybe pick up 2 or 3 starters on the defense?
I'm at the point.
That increase my chances of winning a Super Bowl?
Well, I'm gonna go with exactly what Evan Doyle said. Move on, save money. You know who did that? Kansas City Chiefs. They got $1 billion draft picks from an ignorant franchise that couldn't find a receiver themselves for Tyreek Hill. And guess what? They rebuilt a roster and won 2 Super Bowls.
And that's great when you have a quarterback. When you have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes,
Mm-hmm.
not to insinuate that Tua Tagovailoa is not a quarterback, but
he does physically play quarterback, yes.
Tua has to have that around him to win, right? Don't we all believe that? Patrick, they could say no to Tyreek Hill in Kansas City because Patrick's Patrick, and Patrick will work with damn near anybody. Tua, I've only seen him be good when he can sling it like that.
Well, and I guess that's my point.
In all his career, but still.
And by the way, that good. What did that good get you? You snuck in the playoffs and got shellacked in the first round. Am I signing up for that for the next 3 years? Because that's basically exactly what you're doing.
If I'm the Miami Dolphins, absolutely.
I'm not.
It's the most success I've had since the 80s.
And I'm not. I'm not. Oh, it's the most success I've had since the 80s. Awesome. That means you're a poverty franchise. Sweet. And trust me, there are a lot of them. But I look at Kansas City, the team that I have actually seen pull themselves out of those doldrums. I look at the Detroit Lions. Now Detroit, they've drafted well. You set yourself up quite nicely because you had a lot of picks and you seem to be hitting them at a very high clip. I don't look at Miami that way. I look at Miami as an expensive 7 seed.
Yep.
And I'm good. I would have moved on from Jalen Waddle. I would have moved on from Tua Tagovailoa because you can't win this way. You physically cannot win in this league. I am getting to the point that we're wide receivers that are not the elite of the elite. You're not worth the money. Ask yourself this. Are you in better shape paying $28 million to Jalen Waddle? Or let's just go to the last draft class, taking Keon Coleman and Malachi Corley in the first and third round and paying them $4 million for the next 4 years. Which one are you in better shape with?
I don't know.
My roster is going to look a lot better than yours.
Who your quarterback is.
I don't think it does. Because Jalen Waddle's not Jamar Chase. He's not. He's not Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's good. He's not that. And if you don't have the quarterback, which Tua Tagovailoa is not, and you have absolutely no ability to get that guy, then what does it matter in the first place? But now you've painted yourself in the corner because if you let Tua walk out the door and you wind up with White Mike playing quarterback in 2025, you look like morons. Because you have money committed to Tyreek Hill, you have money committed to Jalen Waddle, and guess what? The difference in wins is probably 2. You probably go from 8-9 with Mike White, 10-7 with Tua Tagovailoa, and guess what? You ain't making the playoffs either way.
Well, I mean, they are a playoff team, aren't they?
Oh, okay. You might make the playoffs. You ain't winning the playoffs.
They're a playoff team. They're a playoff team, no doubt. You're not necessarily going to win in the playoffs, but you locked yourself into this when Tua started playing well, right? When Tua had the first MVP-ish hype during the early season run, what was that, last year? Year before last, before he got hurt? And then he came back last year and he had it again. First 9 games of the season, there wasn't a quarterback that was better than him, something like that. I remember hearing that over and over and over again. You locked yourself into this well before re-signing Jalen Waddle.
This was just the death knell.
You
locked yourself into this the day you traded for Tyreek Hill.
You couldn't have abandoned the process. That's how Mike McDaniel gets fired. I couldn't have abandoned the process and just said no to Jalen Waddle and then went forward with, I mean, how's that work? Or do we get into the same scenario with, T. Higgins is in? Like, are we going to play this game where, is he going to show up? Is he not? Is he going to hold out? Is it going to be a long negotiation? I've got my 3 cornerstones on offense. For better or worse, I mean, this is just how I think the Miami Dolphins brain trust is thinking about it. We have no other options.
Well, yeah, you do. You stop living under that loser mentality of, well, it's the best we've been in 30 years. It's still not good enough. I mean, look, I get it. I'm the disapproving father. I'm the boomer father of nothing you do short of winning titles is going to be good enough for me. I get it. That's just where I'm at. I also look at Miami and go, how many teams in the NFL could I, honest to God, say have less hope in the next 5 years than Miami does? Be honest with yourself. Name me the teams that have less hope to win a Super Bowl than Miami does. I think I'd struggle to get to 5.
Ooh, Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans have a boatload of money. The defense is markedly improved. And if Will Levis turns into that quarterback, it's not that bad.
Yeah, that's a lot of what ifs.
It's a lot. You're right. It's a lot of what ifs. Carolina or Miami has no what ifs. I know you have a 0% chance of winning a Super Bowl the next 5 years. None. I'll bet my house on it right now. Anybody that wants to take it with me. And you know what? I'll go a step further. I'll take you to 2030. I'll guarantee you don't win a Super Bowl. Because you're inferior at quarterback, and as I think it was Kevin the PRF said in the YouTube comments, wide receiver is the most overrated position in the NFL. Sweet, you're really fast. Gets completely mitigated in playoffs because it's cold and you're outside. Sweet. I don't begrudge Jalen Waddle for getting his money. I just look at it and go, hey, sweet. Now you got the fastest receiver core. You're paying him $1 billion. Think about this. Think of the 10 best receivers in the NFL. How many of them are on good teams? Like true, honest-to-God, title contending teams.
I mean, I would say there was quite a few with the Eagles and the Lions and
okay,
Texans
let me ask this
Nico.
a different way. Pick me a team that's going to win the Super Bowl in 2024.
Oh, Detroit Lions.
That's your one?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Number one receiver on the team is Hollywood Brown, who's bounced around the NFL like a ping pong ball. Baltimore Ravens. Number one wide receiver is Zay Flowers, who they just drafted in the first round in the 20s. San Francisco 49ers. You hit on two guys at the end of the first, one at the end of the first round, one at the beginning of the second round. You've paid one. You seem to have no interest in paying the other. I keep doing this. You said Detroit. I don't see Detroit. I could see them getting to the Super Bowl and getting annihilated by the Kansas City Chiefs or the Baltimore Ravens or whoever else it is. I don't see anybody winning a Super Bowl out of the NFC anytime soon. And you just keep going up and down the list. It's either a first-round pick on a rookie deal, which would be Jamar Chase, which would be Garrett Wilson, or it's a mishmash of 2s and 3s. And I've got such a good quarterback that it doesn't matter. That's why I think we're burying the Buffalo Bills. And look, I'm doing it worse than anybody. I had them 5-12. And as soon as I walked away from that, I went, I'm going to regret that I said that out loud. That's going to age like dirt.
I don't know. I mean, a quarterback can take you a long way. It will be the true test this year for Buffalo of just how far can Josh Allen take you. Because we were playing the fun game of what's the most expensive or most inexpensive wide receiver room in the NFL, and I thought Buffalo's got to be it.
Nope.
Because they're not good.
And now that wasn't wide receiver room. That was wide receiver duo, to be fair.
No wide receiver duo.
Starting duo.
But I still looked at it and went, Keon Coleman and Curtis Samuel, I just drafted one, and the other one I'd give $5 to. So,
yep, and they both make more than the cheapest duo in the league combined.
Right, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
With George Pickens and Roman Wilson. And I'll be honest with you, if you told me next 5-year projection, one of these teams wins the Super Bowl, the other one doesn't come close, I'd take Pittsburgh over Miami. And I'd take it right now, and I wouldn't think about it twice. Can I explain it? No. Oh, well, actually, yeah, I can. One's a good franchise, one's not.
There you go. Absolutely. Some teams prioritize some things over other teams. Apparently, Miami will never be prioritizing defense.
Miami is the definition of the single wide trailer owner with a Maserati in the parking lot. Sweet. You got sweet wheels, bro. You should probably upgrade the wheels on your house because it's mobile as well.
Jalen Waddle getting the $87.5 million contract extension, or excuse me, the $84.75 million contract extension. That was was a fun little game. $76 million guaranteed. That means the Miami Dolphins are dumping, what did you say? How much was it a year?
$58.25 million a year.
Wow, into their two wide receivers in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. It is a passing league. Bad quarterbacks do need weapons. Was it the right call to make? I guess time will tell. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
Breathe easier in your home with Zero Res Air Duct Cleaning. Just to keep your home insanely clean. Right now, mention ESPN Asheville, and you get $50 off your next air duct cleaning. Use promo code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now, you're thinking, Comparion, never heard of them. We know.
Can we get Blue Diamond as a sponsor and just have them pay me in nuts?
And provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have...
You said that out loud.
I did.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
And I'd take it, too. If Blue Almond would give me 60 tins of almonds a week, or a month, excuse me,
Hey,
I would endorse them right now.
Make-A-Wish Trailblaze
for
Challenge is
$0.
committed to ensuring that no eligible child waits to experience the hope and joy that a wish brings.
You just drop ship habanero barbecue almonds to my house, and I will tell people how wonderful they are.
Habanero barbecue.
Oh, dude, they're so
People
good.
prioritizing their mental
And I'll
health.
eat 2 tins of this ish
Often feel difficult
every day.
and sometimes overwhelming. If you or someone you know...
I like the smokehouse flavor.
I hate that
NAMI,
one.
the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization, can help. NAMI offers free peer support.
That one tastes like they soaked them in liquid
and
smoke.
A helpline to support you when the wait seems too...
Yeah, that's why I like them. That's why I don't like
to
them.
find. You are not alone. Visit NAMI.org for information, resources, and support. NAMI.org.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin ultra soft on the party, less is more, so roll it back, everybody. Roll it back. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. The grip is always soft. It's our party vice. So our cheeks feel flat. So what? Everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more
See,
absorbent.
if you were a
than
jerk,
liquid
you would clip that.
Enjoy the
Could
go
they
with
just
Charmin.
pay me in nuts and use that in the next promo?
When the flowers come in, build a dream.
I'm not recording the off-air stuff, though.
My husband Russ and I own Briar Hill
I am.
Farm in Pickett.
I can't physically do that.
Ingles has really brought awareness to locally grown flowers. And they've made it convenient for customers to be able to purchase local flowers, and customers realize the advantage of local flowers being fresher and lasting longer.
Pinckney said Blue Diamond sells
If you're looking to
bags
buy,
of nuts
sell,
too.
or
I did
invest
not
in
know
real
that.
estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty.
They sell what?
At
Bags of nuts?
ClarissaSellsWNC.com.
Does that mean I can get those
Free app
habanero
on
barbecues
Google
in
Play or the App
the
Store.
bag?
Type
Because
in-
I feel
I've
like
never seen them. I've never seen them in the big bag. I'm sure they sell them online.
I mean, at the
homes for
rate that
sale
I'm
in our
opening these
area.
little
For more
cans, I might as well be
information,
clubbing a
contact us
seal in the
today
head
at
with a
82
hammer about once a week.
6343 or
I know the Ingles has the smokehouse. They have the lightly salted. They have the regular salted. And there's a wasabi flavor too that I can't eat because of the wasabi.
I got some of the salt and vinegar
For a
too, and they're
limited time
awesome.
in the blue jean box. Yeah, the salt and vinegars are good.
I got some honey roasted ones too.
hard.
They
And
taste
a
like
little laxes
really good
hard.
versions of the
Much
airline
more than
peanuts
about
everybody
what
used to lose their
you
mind
pack
about.
in your dinner. Ooh. Here, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
We're back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Whole lot of money being thrown around for these wide receivers. Again, I get it that it is a passing league. Is $60 million a good build to throw into your wide receiver room on just 2 guys? That's not even the entire room.
You know who needs to be throwing around some money? Blue Diamond to me, so I can tell people how wonderful their nuts are.
Yes.
If you're watching us on YouTube, you got to hear me. It sounded like a noshing on a bag of wood screws in the break because I can't stop eating those. They're good. Lord, those are good.
They are very, very good. I am a big fan of the almonds. Yeah. So now with the major build here, the $60 million in the wide receiver room of the Miami Dolphins, does that give you pause on what Cincinnati should do with T? You know they're paying Jamar.
I never said they should pay T.
Jamar's getting $40 million. What would you do though? What would you do with T?
Trade him right now. I would trade him right now to a team that is in desperate need of a wide receiver. Buffalo Bills, line one.
Mm-hmm.
I can keep doing this. There are several teams.
What did they offer you though?
I don't care if you gave me a second-round pick. I'll do it right now.
Really?
I'll do it right now. I wouldn't think about it. Because I'm not paying him one way or the other. I'll pay Jamar Chase. He's elite. He is an elite receiver in this league. Kevin, the PRF, in our YouTube chat before the break, said best wide receivers the last 10 years. Larry Fitzgerald, Randy Moss, Julio Jones, Andre Johnson. 0 rings combined. 3 individual Super Bowl appearances total.
Mm-hmm.
He's not wrong. Best receivers in the NFL right now, Justin Jefferson, completely irrelevant. That team is completely irrelevant with him cheap. What do you think they're going to be when he's expensive? Because you don't have a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Amon-Ra, we haven't seen that team with him paid. I love Amon-Ra. Everybody knows that. Can I tell you definitively that team's not going to take a step back with everybody getting paid all at once? No.
Yeah.
And they draft super well.
Philadelphia Eagles. They've got 2 of the highest paid in the league.
Yeah, but they've yet to play it down with either one of them as one of the highest paid in the league.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown got a deal, and then money went nuts. Devontae Smith still running on a rookie deal. You don't actually see what this does until you start having to pay them. And now that is a point here, that Miami's got 2 years before this deal kicks in Waddle.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is that means you're paying him for the next 5. And so now Miami is in a window here where you basically have 2 years before his number swells. You got to pay Tua, which means your window is this year.
Yes.
How many teams would I have to give you in terms of betting a Super Bowl winner before you got to the Miami Dolphins? And why is it 13?
Yeah, I was going to go at least 8 or 9.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So you pay these numbers to keep a little relevancy because you don't want to be awful. What could you have gotten for Jalen Waddle if you offered him up right now? I guarantee you a desperate team would have given them a first-round pick.
Yes.
Even coming out of a great receiver draft, a year after the best receiver draft I think we've ever seen, and with another one coming up, you still would find a team that's so desperate, I will give you high-level compensation to pay this guy. And you're better off that way if you know what you're doing. There is a reason that the build is pretty consistent with contenders. You hit on a quarterback, you draft obnoxiously well, your roster is nice and built out, and you look at running back and you look at wide receiver. We got some guys, got some top 30 guys, maybe a couple of top 50 guys. You see any stars there? Because I don't. I see a lot of Hollywood Brown and Zay Flowers and, let's keep doing this, Amari Cooper, who's always been just grossly overrated.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. He's not elite. Nobody with an IQ above salad dressing would argue with me that he's elite. If you told me he was a top 10 receiver in this league right now, we'd laugh you out of the building. Weird. You know what all those teams have in common? Hey, they rush passers really well. Hey, their offensive lines are really good. Hey, their quarterback's really good. But Miami, look at his car. Look at this sweet. For whatever reason, Miami in my head now is just the greasy dude with a mullet and that shirt I was wearing at the beach with nothing under it, just unbuttoned to mid-jejunum with a nip out and a sweet Trans Am going, hey, baby, what do you think about that?
Wow.
I think you shouldn't be allowed within 500 feet of a school there, goober. That's what I think.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I've always felt that if you have one of the if you have one of the top, 15 players at his position in the league, and that's one of the best things going for you, it's hard for me to let that go. To me, that's where Miami was coming from.
Well, it's salary cap league.
This is the best chance that I got.
And and to me, that chance is no chance. And all you've done now is commit to it. Sweet. Enjoy that. Hey, you know what? When we see Mike McDaniel next year, you can look at him and go, good job, coach.
Yep.
Give him those knucks. Give him those knucks and tell him you'll make the playoffs next year, coach.
That's right.
Aaron Rodgers can't play forever. The Bills can't beat you every single year. Oh, wait.
Can they? You think there's a chance that the Bills are better than the Dolphins this year?
I wouldn't bet against it.
Ooh.
Especially after I waxed poetic the Buffalo's going to be picking in the top 5. Yeah. Buffalo's one of those teams I seem to be wrong on no matter what I say. So, no, I'm not going to bet on that one.
That's going to be, to me, that's only barring an injury on the offense, like a major one, which Miami has gone down that path before. And between Tyreek and Jalen, they're not the stoutest of guys. Tua's obviously had his injury issues, and Devin Achan's already been hurt, I think, a couple of times.
Hey, do me a favor. What are the 2 best things Miami does?
The 2 best things they do?
Name me the 2 best position groups on that team.
Running back, wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. Name me the last team that was built that way that won a Super Bowl, and why was it the Rams 25 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, weird. Nobody's won a title that way, and yet you're going to steer into that. I mean, for me, this is a whole franchise issue. I thought the Tyreek, you can attest to this. The day that it was down to the Dolphins and the Jets, I was praying to all that was good and holy, please, God, don't let the Jets do this. Please don't do this. There are too many receivers in this draft. I don't want to pay him. He scares me personality-wise anyway, and the Dolphins did it. Brian Hall's dancing up and down the hall, and I'm just looking at him going, you're going to regret that.
I don't think he does.
That might be a jersey you can buy, but in terms of winning playoff games, you did nothing to assist yourself.
It feels like a strong indictment over Jalen Waddle, who, I mean, he is one of the best wide receivers in the league.
I've said twice now that I'll say it for the 3rd time. This has nothing to do with Jalen Waddle not being worth the money. In this market, he got a contract that he is worth. You also just guaranteed yourself that you're going to be paying $110 million a year to Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill. That on the high side. The high side is a 30-year cap space. That's if the salary cap explodes over the next 6 years. That's a 30-year roster. That core cannot win you Super Bowls, period. You have a mediocre quarterback and 2 speed receivers that don't do squat and go weather. Awesome. I mean, for me as a Jet fan, I'm just here going, hey, I'm glad you did this. You should do it some more. Hey, go pay Jalen Ramsey like $500 million too. Go just go full on best 8 players in the league and then 50 dudes that should be working at Home Depot.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. When we come back, it'll be time to get just a bit outside.
This is your Exergen temporal scanner. What?
Clear.
ESPN Asheville.
Thank you.
Talked about it all week, and we're going to continue to talk about it for the rest of the week and the rest of the month.
And back to my nuts.
That's only 2 more days, but sunshine going to be dominating. 75 today, 78 tomorrow. Again tomorrow morning, we're in the 40s, but not bad as we recover nicely by the afternoon. Kicking off the weekend and meteorological summer Saturday. Yes, that is a thing. Sunny 80. Chance of showers and thunderstorms Sunday afternoon. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stachik.
This report is sponsored by First Restoration Services. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
With your choice of select sandwich, nugs, fries, and a drink, Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag is your go-to. Your nugget wingman. Your hot and crispy fry co-pilot.
Just like us. We're like the bag boys.
What?
Bag boys, bag boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
For a deal you can count on, bet on Biggie and choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Bag boys, bag boys.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes choice of JVC or crispy chicken sandwich with 4-piece nugs, junior fry, and small soft drink. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
Elevate your outdoor living space.
We got to talk about Jawan Jennings, too, when we come back.
Has developed stone decking crafted without any plastic composite materials to redefine durability. Visit Tanzai.com.
What'd she do?
Decking doesn't scratch.
49ers signed him to a 2-year, $15.5 million deal yesterday, which really signals to me Brandon Ayuk is in trouble.
At Tanzai.com, you will see how we develop stone to easily transform any ordinary wood deck. You can even make your deck waterproof for a dry space below. Versatile and adaptable. Tanzite is perfect for decks, stairs, over concrete, or ground applications. Visit Tanzite.com to start planning your project with a free 3D design and construction plan tailored to your space.
I just sent you an article of
to witness the incredible beauty and durability firsthand.
Extension eligible players that they'll have to make a decision in the next 12 months. Sent to you on Facebook.
Spring into adventure with Spruce Pine Chevrolet GMC at 36 Chevrolet Boulevard or online at sprucepinechevrolet.com. Enjoy great deals whether leasing or buying with the largest selection of Chevrolets and GMCs in Western North Carolina.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingalls, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top-quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality.
All right, quit chewing and swallow your load.
It's all in the bag. Ingalls.
Don't judge my nut stank.
Love the savings.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. We're live in the Ingalls studio, or I'm live in the Ingalls studio. Mullet, he's still live from Mullet Manor.
I've pretty much taken up residence here, Tank.
Yeah, that's just fine.
I mean, you laid actual eyes on. You did see that I'm clinically alive. I'm actually a person. I was there this morning.
I did see that. You know, it's weird. I mean, I actually get used to being the only person in this building for hours on end today. So it was weird to have you in the studio today. It seemed like everybody showed up on the same day. I felt like I've been alone for the last 3 weeks in this building. Which I kind of have been. Anyway, it is time to get just a bit outside, and we all, heard the story. I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Scotty Scheffler, he is free and clear. Charges were dropped against him yesterday.
Shocker.
Of course, he was arrested outside the PGA Championship on the Friday of the PGA Championship tournament. We all know that story. The officer that was involved, he has now issued a statement. And he should have just not issued a statement. Louisville Metro Police Detective Brian Gillis, he is the one that, who was it? Was it Jeff Darlington was the one that was behind the incident? Said, quote, attached himself to Scotty Scheffler's car. Issued a statement yesterday after the charges were dropped saying, quote, to be clear, I was drugged by the car. I went to the ground and I received visible injuries to my knees and wrists. I'm going to recover from it and I'll be okay. This is the extent of my commentary on the incident. And then his statement had a postscript at the end. P.S. Yes, the department has us buying freaking $80 pants. To those concerned, they were indeed ruined. But, Scotty, it's all good. I never would have guessed that I'd have the most famous pair of pants in the country for a few weeks because of this. Take care and be safe. I know what
I'll
you were
give you
trying
a
to
hundy
do.
if I'm Scotty Scheffler to get you to never mention those pants again. Ever. I've never seen somebody complain this much about paying $80 for a pair of pants that wasn't named Tank Spencer in my entire life.
$80 for pants? That's crazy.
All right, I have a hypothetical.
What?
If you took every pair of pants you own and added up how much you paid for them, would you get to $80?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Barely. Barely get there. No, $80. That's a lot. That's a lot for a pair of pants, especially the ones that your job makes you buy.
Well,
like,
I mean,
you should buy these for me. This is my uniform.
They're tactical pants. It's kind of important.
Needed for the job. Should be supplied by some government grant or something. No.
I don't disagree with that in any way.
I am Detective Gillis. I live in Kentucky. I've been to Kentucky, and there are only 2 stores that I can go to that actually sell $80 pants. So it's a bit of a hassle.
No,
one of them's not even in my county.
I mean, if I was a cop and I was going to complain about anything, it would be the fact that I have to pay for my own gun, and then you can take it from me when you take my badge from me, which I don't understand. I've never, if you gave me all day to explain that, I'm not sure that I could. So you mean I legally bought this gun? I can carry this gun anywhere, but then you get mad because I did something not the way you wanted me to, and now you take my gun.
They're just protecting you in that scenario.
That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Another thing that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, Nebraska volleyball coach John Cook. First of all, I'm going to ask you a question, Tank. He is the most successful women's volleyball coach in the country. How much do you think this feller makes a year on the new deal he just signed?
$120,000.
Higher.
$220,000.
Higher.
$400,000 final answer.
$1 million plus for a women's volleyball coach, which I would have never in a million years ever thought that.
Nope.
But that's not why I'm telling this story. I'm telling this story because he wanted a specific rider in his contract with his retention bonus. So a retention bonus is basically, it's almost like a cost of living increase of you stay around year over year, and they'll add, in this case, it's $70,000 a year. Every year, there's basically a date, and so long as he's still in that job, they cut him a check for $70,000. Well, he was good with all that, but he wanted the money put to a specific place. He wanted a horse. Specifically, he wanted a racehorse. His name is number 415, which I do not understand the relevancy of that number, but the University of Nebraska bought John Cook a horse.
That was the name of the horse?
Number 415, yes. Which makes me now realize that Nebraska women's volleyball is coached by Nikola Jokic.
That's true.
Oh, I have to go home.
I mean, that is a pretty big volleyball program.
It's the best in the country. It has 4 national titles.
Didn't they have the stadium game this past year?
Oh, yeah. He makes his money. He makes his money. Have no fear.
But I'm remembering that correct. That was Nebraska, right? That had the stadium game where they played in the football stadium?
Yes. And sold it out.
Yeah, I'll never forget reading that. Going, how in the hell did you find that many people in Nebraska that want to watch a women's volleyball game?
You ever been to Nebraska?
I don't care. Were they charging money for it?
It's probably not much. I mean, I think it cost you like 6 ears of corn to go to the game.
I was gonna say, I mean, if that's the price, then maybe I got some laying around somewhere. If it's more than $5 to get into that thing, I got other things to do. I got to wash my hair.
Dude, this is a state where the state hobby is shucking. Just throwing it out there.
Okay. If you had that on your bingo card for today's program.
Shucking?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great word. It's a great word, and it's a word you can't get mad at me for saying. Netta, boo-boo, sticky head, and doo-doo. How about that?
Kind of gives me the angina every time you say it. So.
How about that? Speaking of this is totally off topic, and we do have another topic to
say. Are we on a topic right now?
Usually no. Can I just state for the record, I want this on terrestrial air that I said this? The WNBA is going to bypass the NBA before we elect a president again. In the next 4 years, the WNBA will be more popular than the NBA is.
Okay.
What
makes you think that?
I'll tell you what makes me think that. I am obsessed with television ratings. Caitlin Clark's first handful of games in the WNBA.
Yeah.
What was the average viewership? 5 of the 6 were on major networks, ABC, ESPN.
4 million people.
2.1. What's been the average of the playoff games in the conference finals?
1.6.
3.3. We're talking about your conference finals against the first 6 games of the WNBA season.
Starring one player.
It's fine.
Everybody cares about.
All we need. All we need.
All you need? All you need is one player.
No. Let me finish the sentence. There was a comma there. That wasn't a period.
Okay.
All we need is a rival. That's it. That's all I need. All I need is a rival for Caitlin Clark, and I will beat you because you don't have one of those. Best rivalry in the NBA right now. What is it? I'll wait.
Oh, good Lord. I don't think there is one right now.
That's kind of my point.
Is there a hot way?
I don't have an answer to that, to be honest with you.
I'm trying to think. I don't even know if there is a rivalry right now.
There's not.
Denver Nuggets don't have a natural rival.
Oh, yeah, you could say it's Nuggets, Lakers, except, the Lakers never win.
No, stop that.
At some point, for it to be a rivalry, you do have to win.
It's a revolving door. It's a constant revolving door right now. You don't have one lightning rod.
Oh, and now you're getting ready to go through it.
The WNBA has one, but I mean, does that other player exist? Will anybody care enough?
It depends.
So Caitlin Clark's games pulled 2 million. Did 2 million people total watch the other games?
It was better than you would think because there was a game in the top 6 that did not involve her.
I'm sure it is. I'm shocked by the ratings on all of this. It's shocked me since start of the basketball season at Iowa. I haven't understood it not once since.
I think it's almost undeniable that she's the most popular basketball player in the country right now. Because I'll be honest with you, I couldn't tell you who would even come close to beating her.
The only one in the NBA would be Anthony Edwards.
And Anthony Edwards was popular for 15 minutes? They get dispatched in the playoffs. You're going to be itching to watch Ant-Man week 1 of the NBA season next year? Oh, do me a favor. Compare week 1 NBA ratings next year to these Caitlin Clark ratings. Because I guarantee you one of them's going to be bigger than the other, and it ain't going to be the one you think it is.
No.
Especially with this whole NBC deal of we're going to lose Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, Ernie Johnson, and Kenny Smith. Awesome. Take the one thing anybody cares about and take that away from me. Sweet.
Were you watching the NBA tonight, though?
It was the most popular show in the NBA, not even close.
Isn't it the only show in the NBA?
No. The network that we work for, Tank, has several great programs that you can see across the entire dial.
Do they? Great ones? Somebody needs to recreate that show. If TNT's getting out of the basketball business, somebody needs to recreate that show.
Allegedly, Ernie Johnson won't leave.
Yeah,
that's the biggest problem is that he won't leave Turner.
That's what Charles says. Charles says there ain't no way. No way Ernie goes to another network. He'll just retire.
And now Chuck is sitting here going, well, I'm not, loving the Turner family after that whole Gayle King thing. That didn't go so well.
No, Charles doesn't need the money. And then the part of that statement he left out of it was, but I like the money. And wherever the money goes, that's where I'll be.
Correct.
That's where you'll find me. Because Charles loves to gamble. And he needs money to make sure that he can still gamble at his normal level. Yeah, I'm not. I doubt it. I doubt 5 years from now the WNBA is going to be more popular than the NBA.
That was really more of a indictment on the NBA than it was. I mean, I'm impressed by what the WNBA has done. I don't think you did anything to facilitate it.
No.
You got lucky that you had a star that was promoted by the college ranks.
Yeah, precisely.
But the same people run the WNBA that run the NBA. So if I don't believe in one, kind of hard to believe in the other.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is CSPN Asheville. So as we look forward to the next guys that are going to get paid in the NFL, obviously there's Justin Jefferson. There's T. Higgins. You mentioned Brandon Ayuk. So the San Francisco 49ers have signed a contract extension with Jawan Jennings. 2-year contract. I don't see a number on there.
$15.25 million, 10 right at 10 guaranteed.
All right.
That feels like a lot for a 3.
Not really.
Who's really a 5 when you factor in the running back and the tight end?
Not really. When the 1s are making 30 and the 2s are making 20.
Yeah, you're looking at that the wrong way. Oh, when you get the 1s and the 2s and you got that many of them that are making that much, it makes everybody else that much cheaper. Look at the build of every good team. Tell me how many of them are paying over $7 million for 3 dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's not many. Most of them have one guy making a lot, one guy making a pretty good amount, and then a bunch of rookie deals. And very few of those teams have a top 5 tight end and a top 1 running back.
Mm-hmm. So what does this mean?
I would say it means Brandon Ayuk's probably played his last game for the 49ers. I can't physically wrap my head around how you could pay that much between Kittle, McCaffrey, Jawan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel. I don't care how cheap your quarterback is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if your quarterback's playing for Blue Diamond Almonds. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Especially when you're a team that drafts this poorly. This is the problem I've had with San Francisco for as long as I can remember, and I'm telling you the day is coming where I'm going to be served to be right. I might have to wait till Brock Purdy gets paid, but that day is coming.
Mm-hmm. That they'll just fall off the cliff.
I don't know that they'll ever fall off the cliff. It's a death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah. You signed the deal with Deebo Samuel. You can't really have both of them, can you? Can you pay $30 million to both of them and still figure out how to put a team around it?
Well, I mean, you would basically be talking about paying $90 million to your weapons.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The Miami Dolphins are trying to go down that path now, but you have more mouths.
Well, I mean, Miami has nobody making real big boy money outside of those 2. You barely have a tight end on the roster. I'd give you $1 if you could tell me who the 3rd wide receiver was right now.
For Miami?
Yeah.
No, I can't tell you.
It's Braxton Berrios.
There you go. Hell, he's making $7 million, isn't he?
No, he was with the Jets, and they quickly went, well, that was dumb. We should not have done that.
So Brandon Ayuk, I mean, he's on a franchise tag right now, correct?
No, he's in the last year of the deal.
He's just in the last year of his deal. Okay.
So he's going into a lame duck year, and I can't physically figure out how San Francisco could pay him. I look at Brandon Ayuk and T. Higgins the same way. I just don't look at them as the same player.
Yeah.
I think Higgins is a better talent, and they're going to get equivalent money.
What? Say that again?
I think Higgins is a better player than Brandon Ayuk, but they're going to get very equivalent money.
I don't know that he's that much better, like head and shoulders better.
Oh, I didn't say it was night and day. I said if you told me I could have either one for the same price, I would take T. Higgins.
I would take T. Higgins, but I wouldn't be mad at Brandon Ayuk. I wish there was a way I could trade Deebo and keep Brandon if I was San Francisco.
Well, I mean, Deebo Samuel gets hurt every time he ties his shoes. So
exactly, that's my point. Is I didn't like it when you signed Deebo to the extension in the first place, and now you're going to lose Brandon because you're saddled with Deebo. Am I looking at it in the wrong light?
Not really.
Okay. Because, I mean, I get Deebo Samuel. He's a great talent when he's healthy. But, man, I wish this was the other way around. I wish I'd have paid Brandon first. So, Brandon gets traded before the season, you think?
I would say I won't say it's a certainty because I don't know what the market is. I know the market was lukewarm before the draft. You know, they made it sound like, oh, no, we want to make sure we get this done. You didn't want to make sure you got this done. You just didn't get the reception you were hoping for.
All right, who else is up to get paid? Or who would you rush to pay right now?
Rush to pay?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at Creed Humphrey. That's the one. If I'm Kansas City, he is really important to what I do. And of the guys that are the most on the line, CeeDee Lamb, if I was Dallas.
I'm running. I'm running.
Because you take him away and they have nothing.
Well, yeah, but I want to get that number in before the other numbers hit.
That would scare me to death, that I didn't get a deal done with CeeDee Lamb before Justin Jefferson, before Jamar Chase.
Precisely. Because they get 40, he's getting 40.
No doubt. And the other two that came just immediately to mind were Micah Parsons and Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah, I don't care what that costs.
Of course you don't.
Write that blank check. Just, agent, you tell me where we need to be, and we'll make that happen.
Here's a check. You put a number in that box that makes you feel pretty, and I'll sign it.
Exactly. You just don't get the chance to have the best left tackle in the league very often, and he very well could be that in 2 years. Do you disagree with that?
Yes, vehemently, but I'm going to choose to move on.
Really?
He was way better on the right side than he was the left.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's easily the best right tackle in the NFL, and I would be willing to pay you for that. But he was not as good on the left side.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else that you're rushing to pay?
I mean, Pat Surtain would be up there, but I'm also looking at Denver going, I don't necessarily feel like I have to pay anybody because we are terrible.
Right. Who are the best pass rushing teams in the NFL? Who's got all of the playmakers to make quarterbacks uncomfortable in the NFL in 2024? We'll do the top 13 coming up next here on ESPN Asheville.
And the best artist with the best new scratch-offs,
Thank you.
I'm so proud my music is bringing luck and joy to so many people.
We should have about 5 minutes
I'd like to
here, right?
Those who invented the calendar.
Yes, sir.
First Tuesdays many years ago. And to all scratchers out there, no matter if you use your nail or a coin, we all share the same First Tuesday love. First Tuesday kisses to you all.
New scratch-offs every first Tuesday of the month.
Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline, 877-718-5543.
I joke around with my wife and call it my bionic knee.
But before Ernest became a patient with QC Kinetics, it was a different story.
I'd go to bed with my knee throbbing, heat, ice. I would get up in the middle of the night to get a drink or something, and I would just be hobbling.
He wasn't able to play on his rec basketball team or work in the yard, but QC Kinetics regenerative treatments turned around the situation without surgery or downtime, using Ernest's own healing properties to help restore his aching knee, now known as Ernest's bionic knee.
I am really happy because I am playing the game that I love so much, and I'm playing with my granddaughter, and I'm gardening, and I'm on my knees, and I'm jumping up, and I have a 200-pound dog, and I'm playing with my dog.
Now Ernest is living his best life thanks to QC Kinetics, and so can you. Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Ford Hendersonville, and we are excited to kick off the Parks Promise Community Hero Program. This year, we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core value to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information,
I forgot to tell you what I found in Tybee.
828-774-63.
Yeah, what was that?
Or
cases of
zero
sugar Baja Blast.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scan on
I'm
ESPN
down in the Baja.
Asheville.
Talked about it all week, and we're
Down
going to
in the
continue to
Baja
talk about
now.
it for the rest of the week and the rest of the month. That's only 2 more days, but sunshine going to be dominating. 75 today, 78 tomorrow. Again tomorrow morning, we're in the 40s, but not bad as we recover nicely by the afternoon. Kicking off the weekend and meteorological summer Saturday. Yes, that is a thing. Sunny 80. Chance of showers and thunderstorms Sunday afternoon. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one
How long have I
platform
got here?
helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets
45 seconds.
I'm going to reconnect the
right from their website.
brick.
Visit
You got a little warbly there for a
Indeed.com/credit.
second.
Okay.
Listening to me right now, I have one thing every business. Think about it. We swipe and scroll past stuff all day, but when we're driving, cooking, working out, we're also listening.
Got a
That's the
super
magic
chat
of
coming
audio
back, too.
At iHeart, we're in your next customer's ears while they're living life and listening, just like you are right now. So get your customers to listen up today using radio, digital, and podcasts. Call 844-ADD-HELP-5. That's 844-ADD-HELP-5.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
That fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls studio.
You are in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The maiden voyage, or the final voyage of the week here in the Sportsocracy. We take the day off tomorrow for another little extended summer weekend. I'll be heading out of town. My cousin, my nephew, is turning 21 this weekend, Jeremy. And he's also getting ready to ship out to the Navy. So
is that your way of saying that? Is that your way of saying you need the services of a professional?
Yeah, this is one of those times where it's like, I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna pay for your drinks, but don't expect that Uncle Tank's gonna be able to hang with you the whole time.
Now we do, but now if you think because you're 21 and you're headed into the military that you're a badman, we have a guy that you can we call him the bar. Compare yourself to the bar, and you see where you fall in.
The bar.
That would be me.
Oh, the drinking bar.
Yeah.
I got you. I thought you were talking about all the soldiering and stuff.
No.
What are you talking about right now?
No, I pulled a hammy. I pulled a hammy pouring a Baja Blast earlier. Are you kidding me?
I thought you were talking about Mongo for a second. I was like, well, wait, my nephew is not getting in a ring with Mongo.
Oh, no. Me and Mongo show up, somebody's ending up in the hospital. And I can't tell you why, but.
Yeah, no. So it's gonna be a fun weekend. I've been practicing up a little bit as well. Went by the old Ingles supermarkets the other day. Picked us up a nice little 15-packer of our new favorite brew. Was pounding them away, trying to warm up for the 21st birthday party. Of course, talk about Dale's Pale Ale.
This is probably a good time to announce them as the first presenting sponsor of the Living the Dream Tour. They will be the official craft beer of the Living the Dream Tour, Dale's Pale Ale.
Indeed. And Dale's, it's a fine beer. Fine beer. Oscar Blues makes quite a bit of fine brews over there down in Brevard, and they're actually having a little shindig on tomorrow night down at the brewery celebrating Denim Dales. It's their, you just look for the beer in the blue jean box. They've got a cool box in the Ingles supermarkets now, or any supermarket that you go to.
But you should only ever go to Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
True. It's got a big Dale's patch on it with a cowboy and all that. It's just, leaning into that everyday man kind of thing. Everybody's got a pair of blue jeans. Everybody drinks or needs to drink a good beer. And that is Dale's Pale Ale. So, you're going to hear more from Dale's down the line here in the Sportsocracy. And yes, another great sponsor of the Living the Dream Tour, along with our good friends over at Ingles. Anyway, tomorrow night's Denim Dale's party down at the brewery in Brevard. Go down and check it out if you ain't doing nothing else. They're going to have music. They got all the beer that you can drink. It's going to be a good time. Jeremy, yesterday we talked about quarterbacks in the NFL, or quarterback rooms in the NFL, doing our top 13s that we do. Today, top 13 pass rushing teams, pass rushing groups. How do you qualify this one? Because there are some teams that rush the passer really well, but they don't necessarily have a key set group at edge rusher or at defensive end or linebacker or however. How do you split all this, or how do you pull all this together?
All right, so who's that elite pass rushing team that doesn't have a really good pass rusher?
Not saying they don't have a really good pass rusher. I'm just saying they may not have one of the, highest paid premiers in the league. I'm thinking of the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
If you just looked at defensive end, there's not really a superstar there. If you just really looked at the outside linebackers, there's not really a top guy there. But for some reason, they are always one of the top pass rushing teams in the NFL because they bring it at every level, right? You got the defensive tackles, you got the edge rushers, you got the linebackers, you got Roquan in the middle, you got Kyle Hamilton coming from the secondary to come at you. That's all I'm trying to figure out is when you say pass rushing group, what are you throwing into there?
I would basically be talking about anybody that consistently gets after a quarterback.
Just all of it.
So, Baltimore's going to be up there pretty high. The only thing I would say, and this is going to sound like a slight at Baltimore, they're the only team I've ever seen that would lead the league in sacks, and I still think one of your biggest problems is getting after the quarterback. Because they don't have the guy that wins consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you, Baltimore's not in my top 5.
They were the one that I kept staring at going, I'm not real sure where to rank them.
They're my 6, just to be for posterity's sake.
Okay.
They get results. Now, that gets into kind of a bigger discussion of which is more important, having the Jimmies and the Joes or the X's and the O's, because Baltimore had the latter for sure. And they have all the talent in the world. They just don't have that one. They don't have a guy.
Yes.
My number 1 pass rushing team in the league is Cleveland Browns. They didn't even finish in the top 5 in sacks last year, and I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch that team consistently, it's hard for me to say that anybody is better at it than them. Now, it helps when you have the best pass rusher in the league. And outside of Micah Parsons, I'm not sure there's anybody close.
Agreed.
To me, that's one, that's two, and there's not a three.
Oh, Cleveland, Dallas, and then there's not a three.
No. I was talking about Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons.
Oh.
Because without Dan Quinn, I'll go ahead and tell you, Dallas is not my top 5 either.
Ooh, I don't know. TJ?
Okay. All right.
TJ Watt?
All right. You know, when sometimes in life you say something stupid, somebody goes, hey, stupid. Let me bring you to this water, see how long it takes your fat self to drink. You're right.
I mean, there are some guys up there, but your point is made. They are two of the top.
That's the three.
Yes. Myles Garrett and JOK added into that mix. Zadarius Smith. There's some good talent there.
I would say Zadarius Smith's still a top 20-ish.
Yes.
Pass rusher in the league.
PFF just put out a top 30 pass rushers for the upcoming season, and Zadarius Smith was 17. Myles Garrett was 1. Zadarius Smith was 17.
Top 32. That sounds like something we could do on the social medias.
It is.
With all this time off we're taking that we're. By the way, I just have to say this because I've had a couple people message me on Twitter. Man, you're taking a lot of time off. Yeah, look at our schedule for the fall and realize that there is an actual time in the fall where we will work 72 days in a row.
It's summertime, guys.
You're right.
Just picture us as teachers, and you'll get over it quick.
Yes, you're correct.
Oh, that makes sense.
We're taking a sizable amount of time in the summer, and we'll make up for it in the fall.
Right. Cleveland is your 1. Is Dallas your 2?
Dallas is not in the top 5 for me.
Dallas is not in the top 5.
Because if I took away Micah Parsons, what do you actually do? See, I think that, and that's one of those that kind of gets into that X's and O's thing. Mm-hmm. Is with Dan Quinn, I knew that scheme could get home. Do I feel like you have that now? Not really.
Not with DeMarcus Lawrence.
I don't love DeMarcus Lawrence, and you know that. I think he is grossly overrated. He is a guy that just brings his lunch pail every day, but he needs Micah Parsons on the other side. In terms of 1-2 combos, I get it. I 100% get it. I just don't know where else you're going to get the pressure from. Mm-hmm. Your linebacker core at this point is below average to bad. Your secondary with no Stephon Gilmore, yeah, we'll see how much you like Deron Bland next year, because I don't think it's going to be nearly as much as you did last year.
Right. All right, who's your 2?
You're not going to like my answer, because it's a team you just hate.
Oh, God.
It's Las Vegas Raiders. It's Las Vegas Raiders. How many teams go 1-4, Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz, Christian Wilkins, Tyree Wilson? How many teams can you give me that have that much talent? Because Max Crosby and the Bosa's, for me, are in that second tier of they're not just down in, down out. I've never seen anybody block them ever. I've never seen anybody deal with Micah Parsons. I have never seen anybody deal with Myles Garrett. I have never seen anybody deal with TJ Watt. That's not a slight. I could make the argument the first 3 there are 3 of the best 6 pass rushers of the last 35 years. It's a hell of a time to have an elite pass rusher. Max Crosby has times where, he can wreck games just like the other 3. He also has games where you go, man, he kind of disappeared for 2 quarters. Not real sure what happened. Now, do I think that's going to happen this year? Not really. You had Christian Wilkins, you got Malcolm Kuntz on the other side. Yeah, that tends to mitigate those days.
It's going to take,
because you can double him, that's fine. Christian Wilkins is going to eat your lunchbox from the interior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Las Vegas was on the list. I don't think they're at 2.
Okay, I got to know who you have ahead of them. Look, I get your Raider hate, which to me goes to Looney Tunes places sometimes.
Yeah.
But, in terms of just sheer talent, oh, by the way, you got Patrick Graham, too, who I think is one of the 5 best defense coordinators in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Was Cleveland your one? I don't think you ever said that out loud.
Cleveland was my one.
Who's your two?
Yeah, my two is Philadelphia.
Okay, Philadelphia's my four. And I'm glad they were your two because they're very high because they have high-end talent.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everybody's slightly miscast. Hassan Reddick was your one.
Mm-hmm.
Hassan Reddick ain't there anymore. You're putting Bryce Huff in a situation that he has never played in before in his life. You're putting a lot of guys in situations that they have never played before in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Tank, I told you this the day Bryce Huff signed. I love that kid, and I hate that we lost him. I wasn't paying him $20 million to stand up. No way. He got washed out a lot against the run anyway. And now you're going to take away what he does. Now he's just literally a speed rusher, and that's your number one guy. I'm not throwing total shade here. I just can't have him at two. Now, I think Vic Fangio is going to throw creative blitzes and get really creative with this. I'm just not. I think he will improve the back half far more than he improves the front half. Which front half wasn't really your problem most of the time.
Right.
Probably you couldn't cover a desk chair.
See, between Huff and Sweat, and then Davis and Carter in the middle, and then you know how I feel about all of the linebackers now.
Oh, well, yeah, because they all played at Georgia, which is why you're
either played at Georgia or in Tampa, and I get Devin White can't cover, but you throw him into a new scenario where he's got new life, that dude is an athletic freak, and you got three of them now.
If Philadelphia played 4-3, I would have agreed with you.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Carter, do I love him in a three-man front? No, I don't know. I'm in with him there. I'm not necessarily in love with him because the way he wins.
Okay.
Because you're asking him to do something that, yes, with him, I have seen him do it in college.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Davis, I like him in the three-man front. Mm-hmm. But then you get into the Josh Sweats and the Bryce Huff and Nolan Smith, who you're expecting at some point is going to show why you took him in the first round.
Yes.
There are uncertainties to me. If they ran four-man front, they would have been my two. They don't. And so they're my four.
Okay. All right. All right, so your number two was Las Vegas.
Yes.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll mop this up. Number one's Cleveland. Number two is Las Vegas. And we'll keep going down the top 13 pass rushing groups in the run-up to the 2024 NFL season here on ESPN Asheville.
Careers in short-term rehabilitation are individuals who seek purpose, both professionally and personally. Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation sets the standard for excellence by hiring people who want to make a lasting difference. We encourage you to join the compassionate team where opportunities are more than jobs. They're careers with purpose. Are you ready to begin your journey? Explore our openings at sanstonehealth.com/careers.
Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are still facing an ongoing rise of hate and discrimination in our communities. But we want the world to know that we are so much more than simply victims. That's why Stop AAPI Hate is launching Spread AAPI Love. Throughout AAPI Heritage Month in May, we are collecting and showcasing everyday stories of resilience, celebration, solidarity, and resistance within the community. Share your story at spreadaapilove.org. Because to stop AAPI hate, we have to spread AAPI love.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-803-5505 to speak to an expert. That's 800-803-5505.
I'm Julian Edelman from Games with Names, and we're on a search to find the greatest games of all time with the players and coaches who lived in them. Ever wonder what a locker room feels like at a halftime of a Super Bowl? Or what about the after parties? We're going to dive deep into the most iconic games with the most iconic people. New episodes dropping weekly. Listen to Games with Names on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
We're just dumber than a bag of hammers.
And we are back on ESPN Asheville. Top 13 pass rushing teams in the NFL. Pass rushing groups. Who can throw the most talent at you? Who can win with Jimmys and Joes and X's and O's, as Jeremy put it in the last segment. Number one, top of the league, the Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett leading the way.
That one's easy to me.
Number two for you was Las Vegas with Crosby and Kuntz, along with Christian Wilkins that they just added.
Just still refusing to say Tyree Wilson's name, eh? He didn't like him coming out.
I don't know that he's a dude.
He's a dude. He's a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you watch what he did towards the end of the year. You see dude. There's flashes of dude, but there were dude flashes for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if he's there. If he has a big breakthrough season this year, then it'll be awesome. And yeah, he'll get added to the list there. For now, it's a 3-player rotation for me. That's why they weren't in my top 5.
Of course
Your
they weren't.
3.
I'm shocked.
Of course they're not. Of course they're not. Your 3.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Alex Highsmith, T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really know that I need to say much more than that.
Yeah.
The reason they weren't my 2 is because I am so terrified of how bad that offense is going to be that I'm not sure you're going to be able to use it completely to your advantage. There's a great chance this defense gets put in a lot of bad situations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when your high side is Justin Fields might figure it out with the worst receiving core he's ever had. I don't feel awesome about that.
So they're in familiar territory from where they were last year. Right? It didn't get much better with Kenny Pickett.
Well, I think they're going to be able to run. I mean, and that's why they're at 3, is I still believe Justin Fields is the right call. Because he does give you that running element, and this could be a team that just grosses out football games and tries to beat you 13-10. And you look at the amount of talent they have that can get after a quarterback. As I didn't even say Minkah Fitzpatrick because he's a safety. He can do that too. Oh, and you added Patrick Queen. He can do that too. I just think that's a really talented front.
It is. It is, and it's scary to think that, Pittsburgh has always brought it defensively. You keep at. I mean, this is why they're so good. This is why they can take risks on the offensive side of the ball with Kenny Pickett and now with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson because they know that they're going to play good defense. They know that they have the scheme to be able to get after dudes. And if you can – if everybody stays healthy, it could be another banner year for the Pittsburgh defense. Right? TJ suffered injuries. Alex Highsmith's been through injuries. It's been kind of off and on with those guys for the last couple of years. You get them all back healthy and everybody had, all the talent on the field at one time, it can be pretty scary. And you end up in a situation like the New York Jets where you don't have to have a killer offense to be able to win games.
You have to be competent. My biggest fear for Pittsburgh is that they're going to be a lather, rinse, repeat of what we saw of the New York Jets last year. Of that the defense is really, really good, and the offense is completely incompetent. And the minute you get behind, I can't just 4 yards and a cloud of dust you anymore. And now I have to put it on Justin Fields or I have to put it on Russell Wilson, and that takes away the heat off those edge rushers.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are your 3. They were my 4. I had Baltimore at 3. I didn't know where to put them, but I knew they had to be at the top somewhere. I had them just ahead of Pittsburgh, despite the fact that they don't have anybody close on their defense to TJ Watt. Your 4 was who?
Let's see. Who was my?
It was Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yes. You said your 4 was Philadelphia, and rounding out your top 5.
This one's tough for me because in terms of sheer talent, you should be higher than this. But I have a problem. San Francisco 49ers. With Bosa, I know you have the number 1 guy. With Javon Hargrave, I know you have that second guy. I'm not sure I actually believe in anybody else they have. Leonard Floyd, okay, maybe. Maybe he can be a cleanup guy. I just feel like every position up and down that line got worse. All of them. But your top 2 are so damn good that it's hard for me to put you any lower than this.
Right. They're another one that they found that they can use multiple guys to throw at you. The scheme, right? It's been about scheme more than anything with them. And the fact that you do have one elite guy. You keep losing talent, though, and it does become more difficult to keep up. San Francisco, they were my 6. Where do you have the Chargers?
7.
Okay. All right, so we're close.
Yeah, the Chargers. My problem with the Chargers is, yes, you have Khalil Mack. Yes, you have Bosa. The problem is I literally never, ever, ever see them good at the same time. I've never seen that before, where you have 2 guys this talented, and it's almost like they look across and go, oh, he won? Cool. I can hang out for a minute. Khalil Mack it was his highest pass rush grade since, I think, back to the Raider days last year. And half his sacks came in one game.
Mm-hmm.
Half his sacks came in one game. The talent is certainly there. I don't know. The Chargers, to me, they leave a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm not really sure I know why. I love Jim Harbaugh. I think he's a great coach. I just think all of this is a little clunky.
Well, of course it's a little clunky because you have a brand new coach coming in and kind of, putting his own stamp on things. He's going to come in and you got talent for him to work with. The defense is I don't feel like the defense is going to be a problem. I mean,
I think the defense is more of a problem than you let on.
Really? Okay. I mean, Brandon Staley was a good defensive coordinator. We all know he was a bad head coach.
Oh, no doubt. But he was still a decent defensive mind. I think this is where I gristle at people just thinking Jim Harbaugh comes in here and everything's hunky-dunky. Because you make it sound like Brandon Staley was this, offensive savant that they were just going up and down the field, and the defense was the problem because he was such an idiot. And I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm talking about the narrative of how the Chargers are treated. I think they are going to be better. I don't know that you have fixed some of the problems that I had.
Like what?
I don't think the secondary is very good. I've never thought the secondary is very good. Everybody put that on Brandon Staley. He threw everything but the kitchen sink at it. I always struggle with that when guys are, I mean, just think back to the year he was in with the Rams. The secondary was the part of the stalwart of that defense. So you're telling me he switched sides of the locker room and all of a sudden he just became an idiot and didn't know how to coordinate a defense anymore? With exponentially more talent than he had with that math doesn't math to me. And now you've got this very super collegial staff that Harbaugh's brought in. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be as easy as everybody makes it out to be.
No. I mean, that was a sexy thought. Jim Harbaugh wins a national championship, comes in, he takes over a franchise that should be good, has all the talent to be good, but for some reason the coaching has stood in their way. And it's easy to do that in your mind, to make that leap of, oh, here we're just going to take this great coach, we're going to put him on this great team, talent-wise, and everything's going to be fine. The problem is,
it's not a great
attrition.
team.
No, you have attrition year to year. Well, now I'm throwing up like I'm not real sure what you're gonna try to thrill me with offensively. Now that you've shipped off both of your star wide receivers, and now I have more of, I guess, what you were kind of leading to with Kansas City, of if my quarterback's really this good, then these weapons should be fine. Because I got Josh Palmer, Quentin Johnston, and Ladd McConkey, and DJ Shark.
And look, I like Justin Herbert talent-wise. Always thought he was slightly overrated and that he was kind of a stat accumulator, which would kind of fall in line with a lot of quarterbacks that the Chargers have had over the years. That's not a slight. It's just he's not Pat Mahomes. He's not Joe Burrow to me. He's not Josh Allen. And you're giving him this just mishmash of weapons, and I'm not sure that's going to work out the way you want it to.
Would it make you feel that much better about this team if they went out and got T. Higgins?
Yes.
Would you immediately go to, oh, my God, they can threaten Kansas City?
No. I wouldn't go that crazy.
You're not that far.
I don't think they're a playoff team as we sit. I think it's way more likely that they pick in the top 5 of next year's draft than they pick in the bottom 5.
Agreed.
And I mean exponentially to the 48th power more likely.
I'm with you.
I think they probably fall in somewhere 10 to 15, bottom 10 to 15 team in the league. And then a year from now, when Harbaugh's really put his stamp on it, that's when you'll see it. The problem is that's when you're also going to see the absolute attrition of the cap. They have the weirdest cap ledger I've ever seen in my life.
How so?
In 1 year, they will have 5 guys that are in the top 3 in terms of position, top 3 highest paid at their positions. That is really hard to withstand, especially when 3 of them play premium positions. That's just hard to withstand. Mm-hmm. You've really got to build the roster out. Now, I liked what they did in the draft more than a lot of other people did. And I think you give Jim Harbaugh another year to build out that roster and you'll be fine. It's just not he showed up and now all the issues are gone.
Yep. All right, Los Angeles Chargers are your number 7 team in the top 13 pass rushing groups in the NFL for 2024. We'll continue the list coming up after the break here. Plus, it'll be time to get weird.
This is your extra
clear
forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Talked about it all week, and we're going to continue to talk about it for the rest of the week and the rest of the month. It's only 2 more days, but sunshine going to be dominating. 75 today, 78 tomorrow. Again, tomorrow morning, we're in the 40s, but not bad as we recover nicely by the afternoon. Kicking off the weekend and meteorological summer.
We're in the 40s,
Saturday.
but it's not bad. The 40s are always bad.
80. Chance of showers and thunderstorms Sunday afternoon. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stachik.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need at the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they're guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, it's Mark Starling from First News on 570, and I've been going to Summit Dental in Asheville with Dr. Chad Reinhardt for years. They're fantastic, but you don't have to take my word for it. Check out some of these 5-star reviews from Google. After searching for a dentist for months, I finally found this place. I needed some serious dental work, and they got me in within a week. If you're anxious about going to the dentist, I assure you this is the place that can give you a new outlook on having dental work done. They're upfront, honest, and caring people who only want the best for their patients. You gotta check out Summit Dental in Asheville with Dr. Chad Reinhardt, home of the Comfort Menu.
Introducing Tanzite Stone Tile Flooring, a game changer in the tile industry. Say goodbye to the trade-off between durability and easy installation with Tanzite's revolutionary indoor-outdoor stone tile. Visit Tanzite.com to see how our tile is installed without concrete or mortar. Instead, our innovative rubber gasket system connects the tiles together. Each tile coming pre-assembled, you simply grab one and place it. No expertise needed. At Tanzite.com, you can see how our foam back tiles contour to cover any existing floor while insulating against sound and cold. Beautiful and versatile. Tanzite tile adapts to indoor or outdoor use, from kitchens to patios, on concrete basements or wooden decks. All with the durability of stone that's guaranteed for life. Witness this innovative product yourself and order a sample today at Tanzite.com. That's
Where did you say you had Baltimore?
.com.
6.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native.
My
to better
one was
serve our community
Cleveland.
with the finest
Raiders
custom
2,
apparel and
Steelers
unique
3,
branded items
Eagles
at the
4,
best price.
49ers 5,
Showtime Sports and
Ravens
Mountain
6,
Graphics
Chargers
can customize
7.
whatever your
Got it.
or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced...
I got a mishmash of numbers on my sheet, so I can't, I've got your numbers and my numbers, so I had to break it down into a different list.
Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
Yeah, I don't even try to jot down your list.
Daniel's Pale Ale salutes.
I've tried that in the past. It just confuses me.
The fabric of Dale's available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. Life's more than about what you pack in your dinner, though we're packing Dale's. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is live in the Ingles studio. Mullet, he's at Mullet Manor. And it is time to get weird. Suffolk, Virginia, there's a big retirement happening up at Suffolk Public Schools. Easy for me to say. Ulysses Whitfield. If the first name doesn't tip it off, yes, this guy is absolutely overdue for retirement.
I believe he should have retired about 50 years ago.
Ulysses Whitfield. He is calling it a career after 70 years on the job at Suffolk Public Schools. Now, here's the kicker, what his job was for those 70 years. For 70 of the longest years in human history, this poor gentleman drove a school bus. Since the time he was 15 years old. So back in that day, he's 85 right now, obviously, do the math. Back in his day, students got to drive the school bus in some areas. I can remember older people, like Vietnam era people, telling me that they drove school buses when they went to school. So I can corroborate that I have heard of this before. But he started driving the school bus for his own school at 15 and then just never stopped. And in fact, they say since the mid-1980s, he has only taken off 2 half days and no full days off, ever.
In 70 years?
No, since the mid-1980s. I guess they didn't have records. They didn't have records going back that far.
Well, they probably disintegrated because they were on stone.
So like 40 years of this guy's career, he only had 2 half days off. That's impressive.
And the sad thing is, since his last full day off, he's had his blinker on for 90% of it. I'm just stuck on the fact he's been driving a bus. This feller got his driver's license at an age that you are no longer allowed to get your driver's license. That is how long he's been doing this.
Yep. They say, according to a supervisor, that no other employee of the school district has ever gotten to 70 years of employment. He says also he's not done. Because he's retired and now he's got nothing to do, so he's going to be ready to fill in whenever they want him to because he knows all the routes. So he is going to be next year part-time bus driver for Suffolk County Schools. So even in his retirement, he's not even really retiring.
Well, I just had my first anniversary, and for the first anniversary, you give paper. I know for the 5th one, it's wood, and the only reason I know that is because I've made a joke about it every time I've heard it. What does one get for their 70th anniversary? A funeral plot? And I'm just saying.
I don't know. I'm going to do a quick Google here. Let's see what it says.
70th anniversary?
Platinum. 70th wedding anniversary is the platinum anniversary.
Yeah, I promise you the Suffolk County School will be, if they get him anything platinum, it'll be a platinum bus ticket.
No, they're gonna buy him one of those Budweiser Platinums.
Yeah. Oh.
Those were gross.
I had a bad. I chose a bad night to have a bad night with those bad boys. Colorblind Jeremy wasn't told. See, I didn't know these things had come out. I drank Bud Light. Well, we ran out of Bud Light, so they started giving me Budweiser Platinums. I don't know if you ever checked the alcohol content on that. It's basically 2. I just kept going. I just thought they tasted funny.
God, those things were gross.
Oh, next thing I knew, I was making a bad decision. And then I married it. My story is from Florida, Naples, to be exact. On Monday, there was quite a show for Memorial Day. As 20-year-old Alicia Razzo and 23-year-old Zadok Westfield. Okay, first of all, can we start naming kids normal things again? Like, throw me a Steven every once in a while. I don't know what to do with Zadok. Anyway, they were spending Memorial Day. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon. Busy around the Naples Pier. And they decide that they want to go for a walk out on the pier.
Okay.
And when they get to the end of the pier, do what?
Or a long walk. They go for a short walk or a long walk?
Well, they were planning on going for a long walk by the end of it because their goal was to get to the end of the pier, cavort, and then jump in the water. That was their goal at like dinner time. At least it's well past dinner time for that bus driver you were talking about earlier. So they do that. They go to the end of the pier, they cavort. But what they didn't expect is that the Naples Police Department had officers in plain clothes that were stationed at the end of the pier. So when the event happened, they responded quite quickly. And Miss Razzo decided she was going to jump out in the water. And Mr. Westfield decided he was going to pull up his pantaloons and just go, I have done crimes. Please take me away and don't add crimes to the crimes I have already done. Mm-hmm. He was released of his own recognizance. She had to come up with bail because they tacked on evading arrest to hers. That's got to be an uncomfortable conversation. Like when you get out of jail, it's like, hey, thought we were jumping in the water, bruh. What happened to what happened to the old swimmy swim for you, bruh?
Did you think it through that much though? Did you have an exit strategy?
Well, I can think it through for Mr. Zadok. I'll go ahead and tell you she's going to have a headache for the next 4 to 6 months.
Well, that's probably true.
That's 100% true.
Is that something that you had the discussion about before you went out there? Like, okay, if somebody shows up, this is what we're going to do. I don't know if I'd have thought that through that much.
Well, Tank, and this is, I swear to God, I'm not taking a shot here. I'm just being real honest. If at your 23-year-old age, a woman had said, hey, we're going to go cavort out on that pier, I'm not sure you would have gotten much past the word cuh.
No.
You would have heard cavort. This could be caviar. It could be all kinds of things, but I'm going to do it on the end of that pier.
We would not have walked hand in hand, leisurely out to the end of the pier. I would have run to the end of that pier and went, hey, come get me.
Tank, at your age 23 season, I'm going to say that you didn't run much. I've seen that, Tank Spencer. And even if it was an event you really wanted to participate in, I'm going to say it was nothing more than a leisurely saunter.
Hey, I can be athletic when I need to be.
That is the time you would need to be.
Exactly.
I'm also stuck on your story of students driving school buses.
Yes.
I mean, wouldn't that be a really nice solution now since we have such a school bus driver shortage?
Hell no.
The only problem is that every school bus would turn into a safe space and they'd wind up at like a vape store doing Bikram yoga. That felt like a Mad Lib because I didn't know how to finish it.
I don't know what Bikram yoga is.
I was determined to get safe space in there.
Mm-hmm.
You made fun of my dark thoughts from my safe space, which I think should be the name of our new fireside chat show.
I'm just going to keep recycling that name on every new.
It was also the name of my first 3 comedy specials, at least for a minute, until somebody pointed out, I believe you've already done that.
Indeed. Hey, look, when you find a good name, you stick with it.
It's like living the dream. I'll go ahead and tell you, our tour next year probably also going to be called Living the Dream. Called Living the Dream 2.
Still living the dream.
Living the dreamier.
Living even dreamier than we did last year. Yes, the Living in the Dream tour. The Living the Dream tour is going to launch. When's the first one? Oh, the SBF draft.
Yes, Scott Fish Bowl. That is July 13th.
July 13th.
Then we will be in Canton, Ohio for the induction of Julius Peppers. And then the next date is in Atlanta, Georgia, the Clemson Tigers and the Georgia Bull Puppies.
And that's when it goes every week. We'll be somewhere around the Southeast throughout the football season at the biggest and the best games. We're going to be checking out prospects. We'll be doing lives. We'll have all of the things, and we're taking our friends with us. Ingles Supermarkets, of course, is spearheading the movement here, sending us on the trip after our successful ventures to all of the draft festivities this year with the Senior Bowl Combine and the actual draft in Detroit. And our good friends at Dale's Pale Ale, they're also going to be sending us along with some goodies as well.
Yes, we will be our Patreon subscribers. One of the things you get when you subscribe to the Patreon is you will get your own all-access pass to any of our tailgates. So if you happen to be in that city or anything like that, you'll have a sweet little lanyard and a badge that says who you are and your name, and we can go, hey, he's one of ours. Come on. Mirror. And Patrick Holt, by the way, has already named our tour for next year.
Okay.
The Dream Quill.
The Dream Quill.
He wins.
I like it.
Although that does sound like something dirty, and you see 2 fat dudes in a truck riding around with the Dream Quill, and I'm telling you right now, you're going to bet there's an old couch in the back of that bad boy that's got a story or 2 to tell.
I bet you those boys listen to Lady Gaga.
Yeah, I bet you those fellas right there have banjo music playing in that truck.
We went totally 2 different places on that one.
It took me a minute to understand what you were saying.
Yeah. They were just born that way, weren't they?
Yeah, I
I
went full deliverance, and you went the exact opposite.
I did. The top 13 pass rushing groups in the NFL for the 2024 NFL season. Jeremy, we have the top 7 already in stone here. Cleveland at 1, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Baltimore. Number 7, the Los Angeles Chargers with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. And then at number 8,
the Houston Texans.
Wow, we had them at the exact same spot. I thought I was.
I wanted them higher too.
I did too.
I couldn't find a place. I couldn't find a way.
Well, not yet. I can't find a way yet to put them any higher. Will Anderson was worth everything. Worth the draft pick that you spent on him. You bring in Danielle Hunter. And those linebackers that they have, I think they can all be dangerous. I know how much you love Azeez Al-Shahir.
I do. I think that defense can be top 3 in the league. And I know people think I'm going overboard on Houston. Look, I'm a gambler. I don't catch any – I catch no odds on Kansas City or, any of the teams like that. I got to get ahead of a team, and I think I'm getting ahead of Houston. Because I look at that roster up and down and go, you don't have a lot of flaws. And if you get behind and they've got Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson coming after your quarterback, may God have mercy on your soul.
Yep.
With that linebacking core, how fast they are and how D'Amico Ryans can disguise things, good luck.
Christian Harris, Henry To'o on the outside with Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter in front of them. It can be crazy good. But right now, we've only seen, 1 year of that. And we haven't even seen Will Anderson when he has an elite guy on the other side. Which he does now.
All right, so through 8, do we have a huge disparity on anybody yet?
We do not have a huge disparity on anybody. We have all of the same 8 teams, I believe. Yeah. We have all of the same 8 teams just kind of muddled up together.
Can I make a bet that I can say 2 teams and I'll tell you who your 9 and 10 are?
Okay.
New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. That must be an oversight on my problem.
It must be.
I don't seem to have Kansas City written down on my
list.
Yeah,
you did that wrong.
That was a mess.
I have the Jets at 9 and Kansas City at 10. And the only reason I feel like Quentin Williams and Chris Jones are very close to each other. Kansas City doesn't have a Hassan Reddick. And I feel like Hassan Reddick is an improvement over Bryce Huff. Kansas City they've got a lot of dudes. I just don't know which one's going to step up.
Mm-hmm. I did not, like I said, Kansas City was one that I had an oversight on here.
But you had the Jets in those 2?
I have the Jets, and my 10 was Detroit.
Okay. You're even lower on Dallas than I am.
Dallas is 11.
Oh, no, you're not. Detroit's the only one I don't have that high. And I probably should.
Yeah. You're not a big Davenport fan, though.
I'm not at all.
And I'm not saying I'm a huge Davenport fan, but I do believe that he is.
Marcus Davenport, if you don't know who he's talking about.
Yeah, he is up there. He's a top
40
guy, top 40 guy. Yeah, he's somewhere in there.
He's a situational pass rusher. It doesn't do much for me. I had Detroit at 12. I had Buffalo at 13. And then I had the Miami Dolphins with a non-applicable because you would be in the top 8. The only problem is that neither one of your pass rushers are going to start the year. Most likely.
But what's the latest that they come in? The latest for Chubb is week 4? I think I saw.
I think the projection on both was that they should be full strength by mid-season.
By mid-season.
And now that was a while ago. They might both end up starting the year. I would be a little surprised by that.
Last I saw, Phillips was projected. I mean, he's like on track to start the year.
That's the one I'll be shocked if he actually starts the year.
And then it was a question mark on Chubb.
I would have to be careful with Jalen Phillips. Bradley Chubb, I mean, I'm not saying I would be reckless with Bradley Chubb, but I'm going to be super cautious with Jalen Phillips.
Mm-hmm. All right, who's next on your list?
That was all of mine.
That's all of yours.
Yep.
All right, so you went New York at 9.
Yep.
Kansas City
at 10.
11.
Was the Dallas Cowboys. Detroit Lions at 12. Buffalo Bills at 13.
Buffalo at 13. Okay.
And then Miami, I would have had you on this list, but I don't know what you're actually giving me. I reserve the right to revisit that, because if you're fully healthy, you've got two that are the wish version of the Chargers. So that would probably put you in that Texans, Jets, Chiefs range for me.
Right. Miami is the one that they were just inside my top 13. They would have been pushed out because I was an idiot and forgot Kansas City and Chris Jones and George Karlaftis and all them. So that's
because you looked at. Let me guess. That's because you looked at that PFF list and they go edge defenders and interior defenders.
Maybe so. I don't.
They leave out all the interior guys in edge rushing discussions.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's how.
I get it. You've got to do it. You have to have a line of demarcation somewhere. My name's on the door. So if I want to play fast and loose with the rules, that's what I'm going to do.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. One other thing that we do here, summer scouting. Summer scouting continues. Next, we'll talk about the best quarterbacks to watch in the next season of college football.
Lighting up the skies in Thunder.
Clear.
Nitro.
Thank you.
Friday night qualifying is back. Super Trip NHLA Thunder Valley Nationals at Bristol Dragway. Catch jaw-dropping 330-plus miles per hour action under the lights as the stars of the NHLA kick off 3 days of speed and spectacle. Get your tickets at bristoldragway.com. Kids are free on Friday night with $10 weekend tickets or a $15 two-day ticket. Super Grip NHLA Thunder Valley Nationals, June 7th through 9th at Bristol Dragway. Get your tickets today.
And the best artist with the best new scratch-offs, Mr. First Tuesday!
Wow. I'm so proud my music is bringing luck and joy to so many people. First, I'd like to thank those who invented the calendar, and to all the First Tuesdays many years ago, and to all scratchers out there. No matter if you use your nail or a coin, we all share the same First Tuesday love. First Tuesday kisses to you all.
New scratch-offs every first Tuesday of the month.
Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline, 877-718-5543.
This is the best time for being outdoors, but not if your knees, shoulders, backs, or hips are hurting. Don't suffer any longer. Non-surgical joint pain relief is here at QC Kinetics. Call them today. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. QC Kinetics advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue so you can walk and run and hike and play golf and move again pain-free. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of former orthopedic surgeon Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a true pioneer in regenerative medicine. Their advanced protocols have enabled tens of thousands of patients to reclaim their mobility. Stop putting it off. Take action now and live your best life again. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Call 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville. That's 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville.
Saturday, June 1st, the Cold Mountain Music Festival is back at beautiful Lake Logan, just outside Canton. This year's lineup features Grizzly Goat, Two Bob Crew, Darren Nicholson, and a whole lot more. It's family-friendly waterfront activities, food trucks, and local vendors, and local craft beer and wine, plus a Friday night pre-party for campers and cabin guests.
This is Darren Nicholson, and I can't wait to see you at the Cold Mountain Music Festival.
For more information and to get your tickets, go to coldmountainmusic.org. Proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia, Asheville.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area.
Oh, you still got 2 minutes.
At 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Talked about it all week, and we're going to continue to talk about it for the rest of the week and the rest of the month. That's only 2 more days, but sunshine going to be dominating. 75 today, 78 tomorrow. Again, tomorrow morning, we're in the 40s, but not bad as we recover nicely by the afternoon. Kicking off the weekend and meteorological summer Saturday. Yes, that is a thing. Sunny 80. Chance of showers and thunderstorms Sunday afternoon. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stitchick.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need at the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they're guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's not too late for a deep spring cleaning on your home. Give my friends at Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning a call. Right now, mention ESPN Asheville, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $129. Book online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now, you're thinking, Comparion, never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents, expert advice.
And there's number 4.
This Mental Health Awareness Month, the Mental Health Coalition is challenging you to #CareToAsk. Experts claim that nearly 1 in 4 adults across the world reported feeling lonely because of lack of connection. To encourage deeper connections that reduce loneliness, the Mental Health Coalition is sharing questions every day in May, challenging everyone to care enough to ask, answer, and share them throughout the month, so we all feel less alone. Go to thementalhealthcoalition.org/care to learn more and get involved.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Live from the Ingalls Studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog eat! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God, the Jets killed him.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, and we're seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat. Your thoughts on all things that we're talking about. Sometimes even you can spark the next big topic on the program. Not this hour, though. We've already got that planned out because it's summer scouting time. The Living the Dream Tour will begin before you know it. We're getting all of the T's crossed and the I's dotted for our big football trip around the Southeast this fall.
I must say I'm glad you're taking a little vacation tomorrow because I have not caught up from mine even a little bit. In the last break, I looked at my itinerary of things to do and went, man, I'm glad we don't have a show tomorrow because that's a lot of stuff that I still have to do.
Yeah, got a lot of things to do. Yes, this will be our final show for the week. We'll be back with you on Monday after a little extended break here once again. Now, summer scouting, we're talking quarterbacks in this segment. Jeremy, this past class was pretty good as far as quarterbacks are concerned.
If you say so.
How does you don't think so? This wasn't a decent class?
Well, you've already had your number one pick have the worst day of practice I've ever seen. Ever. And he was the no doubt, absolute, just hammer time A1 since day one prospect. I had questions about him from the jump. I didn't even have him as my one. Drake Mays had some good and some bad. Jaden Daniels had some, I'll say nondescript. Bo Nix so far looks like the best one, which should tell you why OTAs are completely worthless to talk about. But and this is me, just one NFL draft nerd that's been doing this for quite some time, I think next year's quarterback class is actually better than this year's.
Okay.
It's deeper. To me, it's not even close. It's deeper. And somebody is going to distance themselves, and I have a weird feeling I know who it is.
Which one?
I'm going to make my sweeping declaration for this quarterback class right now.
Okay.
Who is your number one quarterback in this class?
Carson Beck.
I think you are out of your mind, but I understand why you said it. I just don't agree with you. I'm going to plant my flag right now that the number one pick in the 2025 NFL draft will be Jackson Dart. I said it at USC. I said it when he got to Ole Miss, and I believe it now. I think he is the most talented quarterback in this class. Now, he's not the one that I'm ranking one right now. That's a projection. I haven't necessarily seen him do it. He's got the best deep ball arm. Him and Quinn Ewers have the two best deep ball arms in this class, and I don't think it's really all that close. That's my problem with Carson Beck. And I will start with the guy you said because he's higher on practically every list.
Yes.
At what point last year did you look at Carson Beck and go, that's a future number one pick? Because if you're saying he's the best quarterback in the class, you're saying he's going number one next year. Because quarterback will go number one in every class we see, unless a team just gets stuck there that already has a guy that they're pot committed to.
Yes.
What point in last year did you look at Carson Beck and go, that's a franchise quarterback?
I mean, it was I think you asked me this yesterday. I think it was like midway point of the season last year.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly when that kicked in. But yeah, I would say down the stretch of the season, it just felt like he finally kind of figured it out.
So let me take a stab of if I can figure out when that happened. I'm going to say it was probably right about the time they played Vanderbilt, Florida, Missouri, yes, in a game that he was not particularly good in. That was actually a legit defense.
Yeah, the Kentucky game was the first one. When he went 400 yards and 4 touchdowns against Kentucky, that was the first one of that stretch.
And that was a Kentucky team that couldn't score.
Mm-hmm.
So you beat Kentucky, which was a legit defense. Other than that, you beat Vanderbilt, Florida, who was terrible. Missouri in a game that your defense really beat them more than Carson Beck had anything to do with it. Ole Miss, who couldn't stop a nosebleed. Tennessee, whose defense was bad by that time. Georgia Tech, and then he lost you the game against Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Sound about right? Yeah. I've gone back and watched every snap of that. Every snap. And you know what I see out of Carson Beck?
What's that?
Bo Nix. It's exactly what I see. He stays on rhythm. He lets the talent around him dictate what he does. If you put him in a bad situation, he will get LMNO killed. If Carson Beck was the starting quarterback right now at Central Florida, we would not be having this discussion. And that's my problem. If Jackson Dart was the starting quarterback of the Georgia Bulldogs, I would have every dollar in my bank account on you to win the national title next year. And that's where I keep coming back to. And I feel the same way about Quinn Ewers, who is my actual preseason number one. I don't see it with Carson Beck. Now, is he better than I thought he was? Yes. He was what precluded me from having Georgia in the Final Four going into last year. And honestly, I served to be right. Your defense was top 4. No doubt. Mm-hmm. Your running game was top 4. He lost you the game that he couldn't lose. And he lost it. with one of the most catastrophically bad plays you will ever see, with a strip sack fumble on his own, 6-yard line? Mm-hmm. That's what you can't do. You know I've never seen do that? Quinn Ewers. And look, you can say I'm overreacting to one play. I didn't buy into the kid that much in the first place. So for me, it's really not, oh, you're overreacting. No, it's just that was really affirmation to what I already thought. I think he is a guy that could take over for an older quarterback. If he wound up with, my team specifically, if he wound up with the New York Jets, I think that's a good situation. You come into a good team at the end of the first round with low expectations. I don't see a way that's going to happen. I don't see a way it's going to happen. And all the good plays that people tell me about, and, this is why I believe in him, when I really break down that film, it looks very mid at best. He looks very average to me in damn near every aspect. Now, that's the bad. Here's the positive. I don't have a whole lot of catastrophic. I don't have a whole lot of this is why you can't be an NFL quarterback. I just think you're more dependent on the fit. Now, could he take a step forward this year? Last year was his first year starting. So I'm just not ready to project him forward the way a lot of other people are. Because to me, he has quite a ways to catch up to Quinn Ewers. He has quite a ways to catch up to Jackson Dart. He has quite a ways to catch up even to he who shall not be named until I have to say his name when he comes up here, because he and his father have been put on conversation probation on this show. Because in terms of sheer talent, they're all three better.
He's just on a better team.
If you reshuffle the decks, and I think this is where this is one of the things that I use with quarterbacks all the time. If you reshuffle the deck and Carson Beck was at Colorado and Shadeur Sanders was at Georgia, absolutely nothing changes for Georgia, and Colorado's awful. That's where that falls in for me.
Really?
Carson Beck's my 4.
Wow.
Now, you hear 4 in this class, and you look back on what I said about the 4 in the last class, and you go, oh, that must mean you think he's terrible. No, I'm just not projecting him that hard.
Right.
Because I look at Quinn Ewers and go, that's the safest quarterback in this class, and it's not even close. I'm assuming he's your 2.
Quinn, yes. He is my 2. You've
been not necessarily as dogmatic on him as I have been. I saw future first overall pick in Quinn Ewers. The thing that scares me a little bit is how much talent he had around him. And he got super gunslinger at times. Mm-hmm. I mean, that Brett Favre comparison for him, it's not that out of bounds. Because he does have a big arm, and he knows it.
See, and I feel like he had more talent than Carson did last year. Outside of Brock Bowers, which he's a big part of it.
He also had a defense that couldn't stop a nosebleed.
Yeah. I mean,
he had a horrifically bad defense. Anytime they played an offense that was even competent. Mm-hmm. Do you remember Jalen Milroe scoring on them at will?
Yeah.
He had 2 better receivers. He had a better running back for half the year. A little over half the year. Mm-hmm. He also had Steve Sarkisian, who I don't buy into all that much. He's a quarterback whisperer that has absolutely nobody under his belt that's gone into the league and been really good. Mm-hmm. He's the least successful guy in the history of college football. I like what I see out of Quinn.
I was going to say, I feel like you're making my case for me for having Quinn at 2. Or are you saying that he's that good that he made Steve Sarkisian look good last year?
Well, everybody makes Steve Sarkisian out to be a quarterback whisperer. Who's the quarterback he's whispered into great success? I mean, just look at the guys that were at Alabama when he was there.
Pro level.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Oh, look, they can throw for 1 billion yards at Alabama. You know who else could do that? Probably me and you. Because Nick Saban had 1-90, the best roster in college football for 15 years. You have to be really careful falling into those things. Now, in terms of just sheer drop back talent, name me the thing that Carson Beck does better than Quinn Ewers. Because I can make the argument it's nothing outside of off-schedule throws, which you know how I feel about that. Oh, look, when things go to Bupkis, he can pull something out of his keister. Awesome. That would be kind of like me trying to hire a construction worker, and his claim to fame is, hey, when I set things on fire, I put them out real fast. Maybe don't set things on fire.
One you really don't want. The other one you absolutely want. Like, I need a quarterback who can do that. I need a guy who, when the play breaks down, can find a way. I mean, that's what part of the, that's the whole mystique of Patrick Mahomes, right? Is that he can make anything out of nothing.
Yeah.
I want that. I want that guy that might got to have that.
Okay, I'm going to go on a little tangent here because there's a video that has come out from Patriots camp of Drake May. It's the number one thing I feared with these hey, look at my arm angles. Now we're practicing it. Now we're doing it in practice. Drake May just had and I think it may have been this morning or it was yesterday, where he throws a no-look pass in, I think it was 11-on-11 or 7-on-7, one or the other. I'm not sure which one.
Okay.
Well, that's all well and good when you see just the throw because it's zoomed in on his head. Mm-hmm. If you see the media tape and you zoom out, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that. All he had to do is set his feet and throw it. That's what irks me about that. And I noticed it with Carson Beck. He had one throw, and it was I want to say it was against South Carolina. See, South Carolina or Vanderbilt. I just remember the really drab uniforms. Where he did make one of those off-schedule throws, and it was on like a middle screen or maybe a drag across it. It was across the middle. I remember that much. Mm-hmm. Where I went, okay, that was a legit play. Quinn Ewers doesn't have to do that. He drops back, and you're so scared that he can drill you deep that you can't send hellhounds at him. I don't really know what he does off schedule like that because I never see it because he has such a good arm. That scared me to death.
Yeah, it did me too, so I'm right there with you.
He has such a good arm that defenses just respect it. Now, he does throw himself into trouble sometimes, and he tries to do way too much. The hope is this year where he doesn't have Xavier Worthy and he doesn't have A.D. Mitchell and he's got younger guys that you see him take the reins as the leader and he stops doing that. If he doesn't do that, then we can get back into that Carson Beck discussion 4 months from now because that will get loud in a hurry, especially if Quinn doesn't look as good against that SEC schedule as he did against the Big 12.
Yeah, that plays a big part in it to me. Does that go rough for Texas? And because of that, does he have the tamp down year? Right? Everybody's got the high expectations of Heisman Trophy candidacy and all of this. Does the shift to a new conference have that big of an effect on him?
I can't. I mean, obviously, until I see it, I can't tell you that one way or the other. The only thing I will tell you is that I feel like people make a mountain out of a molehill about level of competition. And if you want me to prove that, just understand that 4 of the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL, one of them played at Texas Tech, one of them played at Wyoming, one of them played at Louisville. Yeah, they lit up terrible competition. You know what? You know who doesn't tend to give you really high-end quarterback prospects? The SEC. You got Joe Burrow. Then what?
It's a good point.
Go up and down that list. You see a lot of busts come out of the SEC. But for me, the reason that is because a lot of people see a quarterback that can beat SEC defenses. They go, oh, they can beat NFL defenses. Yeah, the SEC plays better defense than anybody outside of the Big Ten, and even that's debatable. That doesn't mean it's going to translate.
Right. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville Summer Scouting. Here in the Sportsocracy, we'll continue talking quarterbacks up next.
As the nation's leader in using
Clear.
Deal with joint pain, QC Kinetics has treated tens of thousands of patients. For many of them, that treatment comes with a plan to lose weight, as we know that keeping a healthy weight puts less strain on your joints. So, now to help patients lose weight in the fastest and most effective way, QC Kinetics is excited to offer newly approved injectables for those who qualify. If your weight is keeping you from living your best life, call QC Kinetics now and learn more about these next-generation weight loss options, including semaglutide and tirzepatide. Even if you're looking to look better and feel better by getting back to your ideal weight, call the medical professionals at QC Kinetics to see if you qualify for these revolutionary and effective treatments. QC is making these amazing options accessible and affordable, and it starts with a free consultation. Call 833-QCK-SLIM to get yours today. 833-QCK-SLIM. 833-QCK-SLIM.
Last season, millions tuned into the Betrayal podcast to hear a shocking story of deception. I'm Andrea Gunning, and now we're sharing an all-new story of betrayal. Justin Rutherford. Doctor, father, family man. It was the perfect cover to hide behind.
I was just like, what in the world is going on?
Listen to Betrayal on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Betrayal and start listening.
At Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation, our focus is on you. With 18 locations across North Carolina, specializing in short-term rehabilitation and long-term care, our team is ready to support your loved one, providing the compassionate care they need for whatever lies ahead. From physical and occupational therapy to individualized long-term support, discover the ways Sandstone provides compassionate care for all at sanstonehealth.com.
I'm Julian Edelman from Games with Names, and we're on a search to find the greatest games of all time with the players and coaches who lived in them. Ever wonder what a locker room feels like at a halftime of a Super Bowl? Or what about the after parties? We're going to dive deep into the most iconic games with the most iconic people. New episodes dropping weekly. Listen to Games with Names on the iHeart Radio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. So where are we at? Stains disappear. WNC. You gave us 1, 2, and 4? And exterior details with paint correction,
yes.
And they do wax and ceramic coating. So Quinn's 1, Jackson's 2, 3,700.
Yeah, and I really need to get into Jackson. And then we'll go Shadeur.
At Ingalls,
we will.
Hundreds of local farms and businesses in the community.
And then after the break, we'll get into the 414 other quarterbacks that could find their way into the first round, because I have 14 of them.
To support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul.
That was a little bit of an exaggeration, but not by much.
Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
We're back in the Sportsocracy. A little summer scouting for this Thursday afternoon, May the 30th. We are coming up on just one more benchmark closer to football season. Right? It's going to be June in 2 days.
We are 98 days from
good?
NFL football, and we are less than 90 away from college football. Let's go.
Yes. Summer scouting here in the Sportsocracy without ESPN draft nerd Jeremy Greene. The quarterbacks in college football this year. He's got Quinn Ewers at 1, Jackson Dart at 2.
That's the one that catches people off guard.
Of course it does. You look at it like any other list, and any other scout has Jackson Dart at he might be drafted in the 3rd round.
Anybody that says he might be drafted in the 3rd round is a moron that you should probably not be listening to. Because in terms of just sheer talent, okay, let me put it this way. Spencer Rattler, who couldn't play dead in a cowboy movie, found a way to get drafted in the 5th. Jackson Dart is 500 times the prospect. I don't care if he comes out and throws 57 interceptions this year. He's not going to. But even if he did, I wouldn't care. Height, weight, speed. He's more athletic. He's very modern day NFL quarterback. He will not get out of the first round. There's no shot because he's going to put up video game numbers. He will put up video game numbers at Ole Miss, and that defense is better than it was. So you're going to see that team win more. I'm just telling you. I've read this book. I've projected these things for years. If you remember last year, I was the one telling you watch Jaden Daniels is going to end up in the top. I said in the first round. I did not say he was going to go at 2. But I told you that early on. You know why? Because there's not many 6'4" dudes that can run that fast that have an arm like that. Oh, guess what? LSU sucked for the vast majority of the year. Jaden Daniels didn't.
Right.
And Ole Miss is not going to.
All right, you got Jackson Dart at 2. And then at 3.
Shadeur Sanders.
Shadeur Sanders.
Okay.
What can we expect from him?
Well, this is a very loaded question, and this is without a doubt to me this will be the most divisive prospect in the class because you're going to get a lot of people like me that look at his attitude and the things he does on social media and go, I would not touch him with a 10-foot pole. I'm good. I don't need your dad. I don't need any of this crap. I don't need any of it out of my quarterback. I don't want it out of my quarterback. I'm good. I will also tell you that there are things about his game. There are very rudimentary parts of playing quarterback that he flat out just doesn't do. He has the pocket awareness of a squirrel in the middle of a freeway. But he also does some things that are real, real special. And he's doing it with, I'm going to say, substandard coaching, and I'm being nice. Look, his dad's not a good coach. X's and O's, you watch Colorado football, it is laughable how poorly that team is coached. Now, last year he had Sean Lewis, who was his offensive coordinator, who I think very highly of. He is now the head coach at San Diego State. He will be going into a new offensive system this year. Here's what I think is going to happen with Shadeur. He's going to go higher than he should because he's Shadeur Sanders. But there's also a possibility that a really good quarterback coach, somebody that really can make magic with a quarterback, is going to take a guy that, yes, goes higher than he should, but is going to take that raw skill and turn him into something special. Because, look, Shadeur can be special. He is super raw right now. Oh, he's going to put up video game stats. I get that. I don't really care. I'll put it this way. We tried everything in our power to get to a Colorado game this year to see him. Could not physically find one on the schedule that made even a shred of sense. Not one shred. The hope is that they'll play a bowl game somewhere reasonably close to here. Now, in that, you won't get Shadeur or Travis Hunter, but that's neither here nor there.
Like they wind up in the Belk Bowl. I don't think they're going to make the trip.
I'm not so sure that I care they're on the field. I care more about what's happening at Colorado, and I want to get a better feel for what's happening on sidelines there. Because to me, that's going to be the perk of Shadeur. Is you see that he has never had a great quarterback coach around him, ever. Never had somebody that really developed him to be a first-round NFL draft pick. And he's this good. I'm afraid he's going to go in the top 5 as the savior to a franchise. Or even worse, his dad's going to dictate he will only go to 5 or 6 places. And it's just going to become way too much headache.
Yeah. I mean, if it's just a given that he's going to put up video game numbers this year, I mean, that's intoxicating. You get that guy out there making the plays that he was able to make, has been able to make since he was at Jackson State. We've all seen the highlights, right? We've seen him do amazing things. You talked about guys who can make something out of nothing. Shadeur's one of those guys. He can make something out of nothing.
I'm going to give you a comp on Shadeur Sanders. Yeah. And once I say it, I don't think you'll ever unsee it.
Okay.
Johnny Manziel.
Okay.
It's exactly who he reminds me of when I watch him play. He is insanely reckless. He is so talented that he can get away with some of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Manziel went to the NFL, didn't put the work in, got killed in 15 minutes.
Yes.
I don't worry about that as much with Shadeur. I think he will put the work in. My fear is that he's already doing things that make him the brand. Putting himself above the team, taking shots at guys on social media. I don't want that out of my quarterback.
But is he doing that, or is that just Dad's doing it?
I don't know. I can tell you his dad doesn't run his social media account, and every time I've ever clicked on it, I've seen something that made me go, oh, God, why would you say that out loud?
Yeah.
Telling some kid that's saying his dad didn't put in the work with him and tried to get him out of town, saying, well, you were mid at best. Do I want that as my franchise quarterback? Hell no. But if you take the personality thing out of it, and let's say a lot of it's his dad, the raw skill is intoxicating. It's not as intoxicating as people make it out to be. If his name was Shadeur Smith, we would not be having this discussion, I promise you. But it's not. And he is an absolute gold mine marketing-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And there are very few times that I ever say that plays in.
Which, why do I feel like this ends up him being the next starting quarterback of the New York Giants, and it just goes horribly wrong?
It could.
I can't get that out of my head. He goes to a place where they don't have, as you talked about, a quarterback or whisperer who can. And obviously, if this is the case and they're picking him in the next draft, that's not Brian Daboll making that call.
Well, I mean, had Atlanta not just absolutely inexcusably taken Michael Penix at 8, if, let's say, things didn't go exactly how Atlanta wanted it, and you sit him behind Kirk Cousins for a year with Zach Robinson in the place that drafted his dad, I mean, stop. That writes itself.
It made way more sense.
And that would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not sure that's not the perfect scenario with Kyle Pitts and Drake London, and you have a guy that runs a very specific scheme that this is what I expect from a quarterback, and he's got a perfect skill set for that. It just needs time. Top 5 quarterbacks don't get time. And you're not going to see a vast jump this year against the level of competition that they're playing. Oh, he puts up video game stats against UCF. Who cares? Everybody does. He is going to be a polarizing prospect, and he will be the most talked about prospect in the history of the NFL draft, and it probably won't be close.
It very well could be, because he's going to be in all of the discussions all year long at the top of this draft. We talked yesterday about what story are you going to get more tired of with the LeBron-Bronny situation. I kind of feel that way about this year's quarterbacks. All season long, it's going to be constant discussion of the jockeying between Quinn Ewers, Shadeur Sanders, Carson Beck. I'm not throwing Jackson Dart into there, but he'll be in the mix, I guess.
I love how you're taking shots at me. This is the time where Jeremy goes, scoreboard.
I'm not buying it.
Because frankly, my scoreboard right now looks like an average Colorado game, and I ain't Colorado. It's a whole mess to very little. That wasn't a shot at you. That was just, in general, with quarterbacks, I've been insanely accurate. I mean, minus Sam Darnold, who I'll never quit. I'm not going to quit you. Yeah. I'll love you until the day you die.
Always that. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The most important message of the day is coming next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner.
All right, we're clear.
On ESPN
I find it funny that the guy that you're wanting to throw shade at is the guy who is the active betting favorite to win the Heisman.
2 more days, but sunshine going to be down.
Jackson Dart is?
Has been for weeks.
Again, tomorrow morning, we're in the 40s, but not.
Oh, my God.
Covered nicely by the afternoon. Kicking off the weekend and meteorological summer Saturday. Yes, that is a thing. Sunny 80. Chance of showers and thunderstorms Sunday afternoon. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell's new Cravings Value Menu is a big deal. Or rather, it's 10 big deals. From new items like the loaded nachos to familiar favorites like the
Where?
soft taco. Check it out at a participating Taco Bell today. Available for a limited time
Say
only.
it
while
again.
supplies
I just
last.
taken my headset off whenever you said it.
Where did you see that?
and I really like it. With
Oh,
QBO Air,
let's
you can
see.
book
That was in
online,
the
use their
futures
app, or even
market.
over the phone.
I can tell you
They've
what
got
the
great
active
prices
is
on
across the
over
board.
500 airlines and millions of accommodations. They're my go-to for travel planning.
Yeah, he's 5th, according to Vegas Insider.
Sounds like it's time I...
DraftKings has him at 6. He's behind Will Howard, which is insane.
855-292-7492 or visit cheapoair.com.
Dylan Gabriel, which is almost equally insane.
The best artist with the best new scratch-offs, Mr. First Tuesday!
But look at the odds. He's only plus 1,600. Beck's plus 800.
Right.
That moves a lot.
Tuesdays many years ago, and to all scratchers out there, no matter
If my computer wasn't actively running at the speed of smell, I would give you the consensus rankings, but I can't pull them up. That's one of those Walter football websites that has like 5,000 ads on it.
Join the
Right.
tournament in London this summer. City of Hope wants to send you and a guest to London to see Taylor Swift for back-to-back concert dates at Wembley Stadium.
He's not dog shit, but geez, I don't know.
Jackson, do you not remember me saying his freshman year at USC that kid was going to be the #1 pick in the draft?
Yes,
one
I
day?
remember you saying he was going to be a thing, and then he's been fine. He was good last year. I don't see him as a Heisman guy.
To win and
Does he have the weapons for that?
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday Night Rivals, televising college basketball.
Because that's the thing. I mean, that's why Will Howard's up here. Will Howard's there because he's got the best damn receivers you could ever ask for.
Well, I mean, last year Jackson Dart threw for 3,400 yards, had 23 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
If you're looking to buy
Mm-hmm.
real estate in the mountains,
It was very Carson Becky.
at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by
He also had
eXp
Quinshon
Realty.
Judkins.
Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com.
Which he doesn't have now.
That's
the
the
app
point.
on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric.
Is this the last
freedom.
one?
Denim Dale's available. Yes, sir. Time
10-4.
in the blue
What's your
jean
crime
box.
story?
Dale's salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. I had one. About what you pack in your denim. Though we're packing beer, so we went. Oh, it's Isaiah Buggs.
Oh, yeah.
Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box. And it's that time. Time for the most important message of the day, Jeremy Greene.
Don't do crimes.
There he is. Time for Don't Do Crimes, and, well, we've got one in the sports world that we thought about touching on this earlier, but 2 animal cruelty warrants filed against Kansas City Chiefs world champion Isaiah Buggs. In Tuscaloosa County, Alabama, cruelty to dogs in the 2nd degree were the charges filed against him after Tuscaloosa police say that they got a call that there were 2 dogs being left on the back porch of a home that Buggs was renting, and the officers showed up. There were 2 dogs on a closed-in porch at the house that is abandoned. Nobody lives there. Nobody's apparently lived there in a while. And the statement from Isaiah Buggs or his attorney, through his attorney, I guess I should say, is that he doesn't live there, hasn't lived there in a while, and that he did not know that the dogs were still there. He didn't, so I guess maybe somebody else was living in the house with him when he was living there, and it's their dogs, and they left him behind. He says he didn't know anything about it. It's not so much all of that. I mean, if he is responsible and he left dogs out on the patio with no access to food or water, it was to the point where one of the dogs was so malnourished that they had to put him down. So one of the dogs is dead because of this neglect. So somebody needs to answer for that. Absolutely. But it was reading the rest of the story that I started to have major questions, because now the statement from the agent is that this is a, quote, subversive campaign to drive Isaiah Buggs out of business.
Subversive campaign.
Subversive. That means there is a plot afoot, and they are trying to run Buggs out of town. He runs a hookah shop. We all know what that's about, right?
He runs a
Everybody knows
what?
What you do? A hookah shop.
The first time you said that, I thought you said he runs a hooker shop, and I went, okay. I think I have a better idea of why they're trying to run him out of town.
Hookahs.
Hookah.
Hookah.
Not hookah.
No. I guess I need to inflect a little more.
You need a little more who in your hookah.
Yes, he runs a smoking bar. This is the people that use the big, what do you call them? Water pipes are used to smoke the tobaccos and the tobaccos only. It's that kind of place.
That's what a lie sounds like.
Exactly. We all know what that's about. We all know who goes to hookah bars, and we know what they're doing when they're not there. Although, in this case, I got a feeling maybe some people are doing it while they're there. Because the assertion here is that this is now the third time that he has been, well, he's been arrested twice in the last 2 months, it said. But there's no public record of those arrests or what charges he was arrested upon. But cops from Tuscaloosa showed up into his hookah shop while he was there and frog marched him away. No public record, no charges announced. And the agent says that he was told if he would just close up shop, they'd make all of this go away. So he says, in defending himself in this criminal proceeding now, it's all going to come to light that this is just the city of Tuscaloosa trying to run him out of town. For what purpose, I have no idea. The first thing that came to my mind was, maybe you're doing something in that hookah shop you shouldn't be. Maybe you're letting people do things in there that they're not supposed to be, or it could be some kind of a front. I don't know.
So you're saying there might be hookahs. Is that what we're...
Could be. Could be. I'm just saying that that'd be a great place to, try to move a lot of weed. I don't know that that's the case. I'm just thinking that's the only way that the city would stand against you. I don't feel like this is one of those cases where, just out of the dark, I don't know, a cousin to the mayor has a big hookah shop and, well, they just want you to shut it down. I got to feel like there's something more here that we are not hearing. I would love to hear an off-the-record cop story about why they want to shut this bar down.
I blame the government.
But as it stands, Isaiah Buggs says he is a victim of the oppression of the Tuscaloosa Police Department and the city council.
We'll
see.
am going to tell a story. And, I say this a lot of people are really common with hyperbole, which is they say that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That is the smartest thing I've ever heard. That is the funniest thing I've ever heard. This is the dumbest criminal in the history of criminals. And it's going to be tough to beat because one, Mr. Corey Harris has replaced my story from last year about the wanted fugitive that applied for a job with their real name at a police department.
Right.
Corey Harris had a court date in Ann Arbor, Michigan. This was yesterday. He sat in front of Judge Cedric Simpson on slew of charges. He did this via Zoom. As you do, post-COVID world, we have Zoom court hearings. Mr. Corey Harris was driving a car. And when he zoomed in, the judge said, "Mr. Harris, are you driving?" Mr. Harris responded with, "Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office." They go back and forth. Mr. Harris eventually stops the car and says he has landed in the parking lot of his doctor's office. At which time the judge says, "Okay, so maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended case, and he was just driving and didn't have a license." At which time his public defender goes, "Yes," before then requesting a court adjournment of up to 4 weeks. Judge Simpson didn't see the urge to do that, because I have actually just witnessed you commit a crime as you are being seen in front of a judge. I believe
For that crime.
I believe this is the first time in U.S. history that a defendant committed the crime with which they were charged as they were sitting in front of the judge who was judging them for the crime with which they were charged. That has to be a first. I don't think it could physically be done any other way than via Zoom. Unless you were on trial for smoking crack and you lit a crack pipe in front of the judge, which I don't think's ever happened, but maybe it has.
You know, it has. I remember a story like that one time. Like the guy was facing some kind of charges and drugs fell out of his pocket in a courtroom. Like,
okay,
God,
all right,
well.
and I'll say that is a possession case in front of a possession. He did not light the crack; it just fell out of his pocket.
Yes, very true.
For it to be equivalent, you would actually physically have to smoke it in front of the judge.
Well, if he's already seen me drop it, I might as well just go ahead and light up now.
This is unequivocally, and James Rarick and actually a couple other people sent me this story. It has been all over social media.
Oh, it's so great. The best part is when the judge just, he like takes the guy off of the main screen on the Zoom and he puts his hands over his mouth and he just goes, I don't know why he would do that. Like, it's the moment of truth for this judge is just, why would anybody do that?
Well, that's because he was on Zoom and he couldn't say what he wanted to say, which is on a scale of dumber than a box of hammers. How stupid do you have to be driving a car as you zoom into a trial on driving without a license?
Yes. So, yeah, they told him he had to appear at the courthouse and surrender himself to authorities by 6 p.m. that night. I have not seen a follow-up on whether or not they tacked on the charge of not using the hands-free device, because that's illegal in Michigan. You have to have a hands-free device. You can't be holding it, and he was clearly holding it in that video. So that could be another charge.
I feel like on a day-to-day basis, I look around our society and I go, the dum-dums have won, because they are multiplying at an alarmingly high rate. I cannot remember the last time I encountered a person and went, damn, that dude was really smart. It's been days, weeks, potentially even. But on a daily basis, I think to myself, what are you doing?
Don't do crimes, ladies and gentlemen. Just be smarter. That's all we ask. Summer scouting, the quarterbacks ahead of the 2024 college football season. I keep wanting to call it 25 because I've been talking about the damn video game so much. It's
we're also one day closer to the video game, just to be clear.
College football 25 coming out, was it July 19th?
Yes.
Is that correct? July 19th. Now, is the 19th, is that the early release day, or is it the 16th is the early release?
I don't know. I know I have the early release. So whatever the earliest you can physically hit that button and hear EA Sports, it's in the game. I know I will.
That did a little something to my soul just hearing you do it.
I
So much fun. Cannot wait for the game. Count me in with Caden Robinson. I cannot wait to play with myself every day with that game. Quinn Ewers at number 1 in the summer scouting quarterback list from Flosterdamus Jeremy Greene. Jackson Dart at 2. Shadeur Sanders at 3. Carson Beck at number 4. All right, where do you go from there? Is there a close group next to these guys, or are they in a tier of themselves?
Well, there's a drop off a cliff from here for me. And then we get into these are a lot of guys that could get themselves into the discussion either because they are in the right situation or they have the raw physical talent. I always lean on the side of raw physical talent, which is why my 5 is Cameron Ward and my 5B is Drew Aller. Drew Aller has the talent to be the number 1 pick in the draft. The problem is that you watch him and go, nope, not even kind of a little bit. Cameron Ward has none of the measurables, none of the things that I'm looking for. But I watch him play and go, man, that kid's just good. Like, he's just good. If I could put Cam Ward's brain into Drew Aller's body, I think I would have the next Andrew Luck. The problem is that I can't do that. Mm-hmm. And I have to pick one, and I don't really want to. And if Cameron Ward going to Miami has bad news written all over. When was the last time that you saw a quarterback go to Miami and boost their profile?
Never.
I mean, was the last good Miami quarterback Gino Torretta?
Boo. It's close.
I mean, I don't know what to do with this.
Was Dorsey? Is that right? Did I do it right?
I mean, Ken Dorsey got drafted and played, I think, about 24 snaps more than I did. And then right behind them, I have Riley Leonard at Notre Dame. He's the one I'm super intrigued by because I've seen him do things that deserve being in the first round conversation. I just don't know how it's going to work at Notre Dame. Could go really well. We thought that was the way it was going to go with Sam Hartman. Didn't go that way.
Mm-hmm. Where's Jalen Milroe?
For me, he's 8.
He's 8. Okay.
He's 8. I don't see NFL quarterback there.
Really? Okay.
No, he has a really non-replicable throwing motion. I mean, look, he's really dynamic with his legs. Mm-hmm. And he made some plays at Alabama. He made very collegiate plays. I have never seen him do anything that made me go, that's an NFL quarterback. Now, he's too talented to have any lower than this because then I get into the projection tier. Connor Vegman, Preston Stone, Grayson McCall, Jalen Daniels. You're going to hear me say Jalen Daniels a lot because, man, I wish that kid could stay healthy. But he is so talented. He's also hurt every 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. And then KJ Jefferson, who's one that I've been on forever. And okay, can you not just like transfer to LSU and be like really good so people can see how good you actually are?
Dylan Gabriel, was he your 7?
No. Dylan Gabriel's not my top 13.
Who was your 7?
My 7, Jalen Milroe. No, 7 was, you got me all screwed up now. Let's see, I had Aller, I had Cam Ward, I had Riley Leonard at 7, I had Jalen Milroe at 8.
Ah, okay. Yeah, you threw me off with the whole 5A, 5B thing.
Well, because I can't differentiate them.
with Ward and Aller. I got you.
Neither one's a full prospect. Now, they both have the opportunity to do that. Mm-hmm. If Drew Aller comes out and lights it up at Penn State next year, we're going to have way more talks about him. Because in terms of sheer physical tool, there is nothing he can't do. Nothing. But every bit of tape just leaves. It is Drew Aller is top 10 most infuriating tapes I've ever watched. I sat in the chair I'm sitting in right now watching Drew Aller tape, literally not an hour, 2 hours, And at no point did I go, that's what you can do. The entire time I sat there just going, how is this as hard for you when you're this talented? Just mundane things, wide open reads. Never even comes across it.
Mm-hmm.
Receivers coming across his face that he doesn't even acknowledge. Doesn't process through progression. It's infuriating. But then you see that one play where you go, my God, he looks like a number one franchise quarterback. You just don't see it enough.
Well, we're going to be able to see, what did we say, 9 quarterbacks that are on your prospect watch list
Yes.
for this upcoming season on the Living the Dream Tour?
We'll see a handful of the guys that we just said, and that's not including the CFP or whichever bowl game we go to. So we may get more than that. We get Preston Stone. We get Riley Leonard. We'll see Jalen Milroe. We'll see Carson Beck. The only ones that we don't see now are Shadeur Sanders, Quinn Ewers. We do not have a date with Jackson Dart, but there is a possibility for one because he's playing real close to a place we're going to be. I just have to find a way to sneak you out of the building on a day that you have to do other things.
Aha.
So
I see.
And when he's the front runner for the Heisman, I'm going to sneak you out and go, nana, nana, boo, boo, stick your head in doo-doo. I tried to tell you.
Remember when I told you he was going to win the Heisman? All right, you're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN. Asheville Summer Scouting will continue throughout the summer season here. We will be back with you on Monday. We're going to take tomorrow off. I'm going to get out of town a little bit, go and hang out with some family. We'll be back on Monday at noon right here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Everybody have a safe weekend.
Guided by the West.
Make it clear.
But it's
Yeehaw.
45 years ago, establishing a legacy rooted in honesty and hard work, driven by those who make our country so great. With our 400th store opening this month, we're reminded of our mission to offer everyone a piece of the American spirit, one handshake at a time. Thank you for allowing us to support our American heritage. Boot Barn. Keep West.
Summit Dental is accepting new patients. At Summit, they submit insurance on your behalf and provide you with estimates, so you have everything you need to make an informed treatment decision. They also work with Care Credit, and they're happy to help you apply. Care Credit helps you pay for out-of-pocket healthcare expenses. See why Summit Dental has so many 5-star reviews on Google. Book today at AshevilleSummitDental.com. In-house savings programs are also available. Book online at AshevilleSummitDental.com.
With your choice of select sandwich, nugs, fries, and a drink, Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag is your go-to. Your nugget wingman. Your hot and crispy fry co-pilot.
Just like us. We're like the bag boys.
What?
Bag boys, bag boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
For a deal you can count on, bet on Biggie and choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Bag boys, bag boys.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes choice of JVC or crispy chicken sandwich with 4-piece nugs, junior fry, and small soft drink. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now you're thinking, Comparion? Never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents, expert advice.
And there's number 4.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Ford Hendersonville, and we are excited to kick off the Parks Promise Community Hero Program. This year, we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core value to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
We treat star athletes better because they're better people.
That's not fair.
Life isn't fair, kiddo. Get used to it.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Talked about it all week, and we're going to continue to talk about it for the rest of the week and the rest of the month. That's only 2 more days, but sunshine going to be dominating. 75 today, 78 tomorrow. Again, tomorrow morning, we're in the 40s, but not bad as we recover nicely by the afternoon. Kicking off the weekend and meteorological summer Saturday. Yes, that is a thing. Sunny 80. Chance of showers and thunderstorms Sunday afternoon. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stachik.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell's new Cravings Value Menu is a big deal, or rather, it's 10 big deals. From new items like the loaded nachos to familiar favorites like the spicy potato soft taco. Check it out at a participating Taco Bell today. Available for a limited time only while supplies last.
Hey, are you up for a real challenge? Make-A-Wish Trailblaze Challenge is committed to ensuring that no eligible child waits to experience the hope and joy that a wish brings. Ready to claim your spot? This is a sellout event, so don't wait. www.trailblazechallenge.com